4 races into the season, and a few teams have already hit the ground running.
Names are made here, and a superstar was born today.
As we enter a second year of the newly redesigned, revamped Atlanta Motor Speedway, we can once again expect that Daytona-Talladega style feel here at the ATL's mile and a half.
Oh, no.
And the caution will be out.
I really don't know if that was my fault.
Will this Georgia native keep his momentum alive? Or will some young star continue to shine? With intense door-to-door racing around these high banks, there's sure to be plenty of excitement. So buckle up. There's a trophy up for grabs in the Peach State. Welcome to Atlanta. It's Xfinity Race Day.
With that West Coast swing behind us, now is the time to get the season moving. And today, drivers are definitely going to move, but they won't do it alone. They're going to do it in a pack, nose to tail, door to door around this 1.5-mile racetrack. Hey, this isn't your father's Atlanta Motor Speedway. This Atlanta Motor Speedway is all about the new generation of racing. As we say hello and welcome to Xfinity Series Racing here on FS1. Your NASCAR doubleheader continues now. Congratulations, of course, to Christian Eckes out there at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm Shannon Spake, everyone. Here with me every single Saturday, America's crew chief Larry McReynolds, the Daytona 500 champ Jamie McMurray. Larry, we've been to 4 different racetracks, 4 very, very different types of racetracks. Today is as unique as it gets.
Well, and if you look at the first 4 races, Shannon, it looks like it's been Austin Hill versus Joe Gibbs Racing when you look at these first 4. But yeah, a 1.5-mile racetrack, but you heard the man say it, absolutely races like the 2.5-mile track at Daytona, a super speedway we were at last month.
Yeah, and Larry brings up it being such a unique track. They didn't get any practice or qualifying. And all these guys that went back and watched the truck race that we just saw, it looks like the track's lost a little bit of grip, a little bit chaotic out there, Shannon. So I would be just a little bit nervous bolting into the car to start those first few laps.
Oh, don't say that. Already nervous getting into the car. Well, let's find out if there are any nerves out there. We've got a lot to cover as we get set for this race. Regan Smith is here with the latest updates. What you got for us, Regan?
Well, good afternoon, Shannon. You can see behind me that it is busy right now. The trucks, of course, just finishing up their race. The Xfinity cars in the garage getting ready to roll their way onto pit road once it is cleaned off of the trucks, and the nerves are getting intense right now. The drivers I talked to, not so much as nervous. They had a chance to watch the truck race, understand maybe what the track was going to do, but it was the crew chiefs in the garage. So many question marks about how they needed their cars to beat for today, what level of grip was going to be in this racetrack, and if they made the right choices before even making a single lap on the track this weekend. It's going to be exciting. And coming up, I will talk to a few of those drivers, Ryan Truex, as well as Brandon Jones, a Georgia boy. It's getting exciting over here, Shannon. I can't wait to get this Xfinity race started.
I think he was eating sugar while we were waiting for that truck race.
He sounds like you.
He was coffee and sugar. The starting lineup was set yesterday after qualifying was rained out, as Jamie mentioned. Let's start right up front, Jamie Mack, that first row.
Yeah, no better place to start than on the pole. I'll start with Sammy Smith, our winner from last week, only 18 years old. And if you stick around, we're going to be chatting with Sammy later in the show. And beside him, we've got John Hunter Nemechek, just ran the truck race, had a shot to win that in the closing laps. It's been an incredible Xfinity season for him. Top 6 in all 4 races this season, including that win, Larry, he got at Fontana.
Let's take a look at row 3. You see Riley Herbst. We'll actually hear from him a little bit later. But Chandler Smith, Talking Rock, Georgia. I love saying that. The West Coast was good to him. Led all 3 races, top 5s in all 3. Almost won the truck race a year ago at Atlanta. Finished in the top 4.
You guys are impressive, just dropping who we're going to be talking to later in the show. Really kind of.
So we get paid for it, Shannon.
I mean, give these men a raise. All right, lots of changes on the track and, of course, on pit road. Let's pull up our track map, courtesy of our friends at iRacing. We got the 1.5-mile track in Hampton, Georgia. Should put on one heck of a show. We already saw one with the truckers out there today. And, Jamie, there's so many things that make this place different than what it used to be. So where do you even start?
Well, we mentioned it's kind of a hybrid, right? It's a 1.5 mile distance, but the banking is really high. And if we just start with the banking that you're going to see right here, The corners on both ends are banked 28 degrees. And to give you guys a comparison, Daytona is only 31 degrees, so a tremendous amount of banking in the corners. You get to the straightaways, pretty flat. 5 degrees on both the front stretch and the back stretch, Larry.
As if there weren't enough changes, Larry, to this racetrack. Now they've gone and they've changed pit road for this race.
Yeah, but this was a necessity because the speeds they're running at a 1.5 mile racetrack in pack racing, had they not moved the entrance to pit road, it's right in the middle of turn 4. It was going to be a disaster if we ended up having green flag stops. The good news is we didn't have any last year. But here's the old entrance to pit road right there, right middle of turn 4, a little over 1,600 feet. But now you enter over there in turn 3, and you have to maintain pit road speed all the way on the apron, all the way down the normal pit road right there. They basically have doubled the length of pit road, but 45 miles per hour. I think that's going to deal drivers fits today.
Oh, yeah, this could change the outcome of the race without a doubt. Shannon, because it's twice as long, people are going to want to maximize that speed because it's going to be twice the distance that you, or the time that you give up. I think we're going to see guys knowing that we didn't get practice, whether it's getting on pit road or just that time around there, who's willing to push the limit to get the most out of it.
If you have to make a green flag pit stop, and if you're the leader, you're probably going to go 2 laps down.
Plus, you have all that distance with cars flying by you.
Right.
You know it's gonna be quite a test. All right, what do you always say, Larry? You got to be in it.
You can win it.
There you go. That's what he says every single year. And last season, Ryan Truex was in it, finished 3rd in the Atlanta summer race. So does he feel like he can contend today? Let's find out as he's with Regan Smith.
Well, it was a big weekend last weekend for Ryan Truex. Finishes in 2nd place. A great run for you. Now you come to an Atlanta track that last time you were here, you finished 3rd. Limited races this year. How important are these races to have good days?
They're important. Yeah, last week was really fun. And I feel like I've kind of been riding that high this week, and you know how it is. This sport's all about highs and lows, and this is a place where you can have a low really quick. So, yeah, last year we were able to keep it in the right place at the right time and make the right moves and be there at the end. And there's always a lot of variables here, and it's super speedway racing, but it's so different being at a shorter track. So we'll just take care of it and hopefully be there when it matters.
You know, talk about the highs and lows today. Another high. It is actually your birthday, and here at Fox, we like to celebrate birthdays. So a nice little cake for you. Any big plans later tonight?
It's good. Yeah, I got some friends in town, so we're gonna celebrate. I'd love to really cut this up and celebrate a win with my team later. You can even come join. I'll give you a piece. I don't know who's up in the booth, but they can come too. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I've never raced on my birthday before, so maybe this is the good luck charm that I need to finally get to victory lane.
Shannon, we all hope that it's a good luck charm for him. We're going to be watching Ryan Truex today as he looks to get that first career win.
I will say he better tuck that hair. That's not exactly a drafting. That's not a drafting haircut right there. What do you expect to see out of him today?
Well, that 2nd place finish at Phoenix, that was his 3rd career 2nd place finish. Still looking for that first win. And you would think he's Martin Truex Jr.'s brother. You would think things would just be laid out for him. That kid works his guts out just to trying to put rides together. He only has 12 starts total the last 4 years, but when he climbs in a car, especially a Joe Gibbs car, he makes the most of it.
Yeah, plus he always gets called Ryan Truex Jr. So, I mean, I know I've made that mistake many times. All right, what about the 18-year-old Sammy Smith winning last week? We're going to talk to him coming up on race day. What a week for this young man. Stick around. And welcome back to Race Day here on FS1. And here, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to think about what you were doing at 18 years old. Go ahead. Think really, really hard.
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, because if you're like me, you probably don't remember. But you know who's going to remember what he was doing at that age? Sammy Smith. That's because he was becoming a first-time winner in the Xfinity Series.
It is time to make it happen in Phoenix. Sammy Smith would become the youngest to do it at age 18. He's led 55 laps, and it's a real coming out party. Today, he gets an A+. Sammy Smith wins at Phoenix.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Nothing like your first win.
It's the first of many.
We could probably do a whole hour on what you were doing when you were 18, Larry Mack. Victory Lane, not a new place for Smith. He won 6 times last year in the ARCA Series, but it was his first in NASCAR's top 3 series in just his 13th career start. Lucky number 13 right there in the Xfinity Series. As we say hello to the most recent winner, Sammy Smith. Listen, I know that this week must be really, really crazy for you, all the interviews, everything that's been going on, but Mr. Larry here has some questions about how that Phoenix race went down.
Well, Sammy, I guess where I want to start, we know the first 3 races of this year was a very, very bumpy road, but you dominated the Phoenix race. You led the last 52 laps on your 13th career start. What were you thinking about as those laps were winding down, knowing that checkered flag was getting closer and closer?
Yeah, it was a rough start to start the year, but we cleaned it up, and obviously Phoenix was my second time being at a track for the first time, and I think it definitely went well. Towards the end of the race, I was nervous with all those restarts, but I knew I just had to execute. I knew we had a fast Pilot Flying J Toyota GR Supra, and we were able to get the win.
So, Sammy, we're at Atlanta today. You've never raced here before, but you got a lot of experience, whether it's with your crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe, or with the other drivers at Joe Gibbs Racing. As you prepare for this week, I mean, which of those guys do you go to and try to get some advice from before the race starts today?
Yeah, I went to Trevor Bain a lot. He's been helping me these last couple weeks, and it's been a lot of help. Obviously, my crew chief, Jeff Mendering, and a lot of guys at JGR that's been able to help me. I've never been here before, so hopefully we can have a fast Pilot Flying J Toyota Supra, and hopefully it's as fast as Xfinity 10 GA, and we can get in victory lane again.
There he goes. You
that
got
internet's got to be fast.
Yes, pay the man. Listen, Sammy, if you keep winning, you're going to be on our show race day a lot, so we're going to have a little fun with you, right? We like to do pop quizzes and kind of put people on the spot. So we got a pop quiz for you. You ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
He seems pumped.
I know, he does. You're as excited as Larry and Jamie are when I do this to them. How many Smiths have won in the Xfinity Series?
I'm going to take a guess and go 3.
Well,
You're very close. You're very close. Two, and look over
2.
your shoulder right now.
Yeah.
That
2,
guy right there.
and the other one happens to be standing right next to you. I know you got a really cool first place trophy last week, but this is a second ever trophy. Second ever Smith. There you go, Sammy.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew one of them was you, so it's good guess.
This was a shameless plug for the days back when I was winning, too.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
we love you, Regan. Thank you for playing along, Sammy. Regan, thanks for always being a good sport. Mr. Smith, right there.
Regan's one of only 2 Cup drivers to win a Cup race.
Yeah, well, there you go,
Smith.
Regan. How about that? All the knowledge from Larry Mack.
I love a good Larry McNugget right there.
We all do. All right, thanks, guys. Coming up, Brandon Jones is going to visit us. Is this the time that he kind of gets his season going? And once upon a time, there was a young Jeff Gordon who made quite a statement with that mustache in Victory Lane and Atlanta. We'll be right back.
Wanna kiss the sky. I wanna go fast, fast.
As we celebrate NASCAR's 75th anniversary season, we look back at the first time the Xfinity Series visited this track. And guess who? Right there, Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon won 93 Cup races, of course, in his career. But before that began, he won in the Xfinity Series. Baby Ruth right there, Larry Mack.
He was so fast that day. In fact, there was a man by the name of Rick Hendrick in a suite said, who is that kid driving that one car?
He would go on. We would all know his name, and we would all know that mustache, too, right, Jamie?
Yeah, and the best, I mean, to me, what I love about this was the start of Ray Evernham and Jeff Gordon's career. And if we could have gotten Ray to have that mustache, Shannon, that would have been even better.
Didn't they all have that mustache? I mean, listen.
I never had a mustache.
Larry Mack did. Mine would look like dirt.
We should have all rocked it. I think he brought that mustache. He made it very cool. All right, this season started with such high hopes for Brandon Jones, who headed to Junior Motorsports to take over that ride vacated by Noah Gragson. They won 8 times last year. Big shoes to fill. Certainly been a slow start for Jones. Could he get things moving in the right direction today? Regan Smith is with him.
Well, Shannon, that's right. He does want to get things going in the right direction today. And it's a bit of a home game, Brandon. It's a Georgia race. You're a Georgia driver. How important is this race to getting things rolling in the right direction for your season?
Man, I mean, it would be really big for us, for our race team. This has always been one of those that I want to just check off. Like, I think the crowd is going to go absolutely crazy regardless. If a Georgia native ends up winning, I think that's going to be great. But we're looking forward to it, man. We should have a really fast Camaro to get after it here today.
We're looking forward to have fun today. Shannon, he starts 21st. And as you'll see, they are rushing him off to intros right now. We don't want him to be late. He'll have to go to the back if he is.
It's live. He is live. Regan is back there.
Regan busy.
The man of the people.
Everywhere.
How much can you compare Brandon Jones' stats this year to what he did last season, and do you?
Yeah, it's hard, and when you look at Brandon Jones' career, he's been at 3 big organizations up to this point, and this has not been a good start for him. If you compare it to Joe Gibbs Racing, you know, the number that sticks out to me when you look at this is just the average finish. 11th, obviously, at Joe Gibbs Racing, 22nd so far at Junior Motorsports. But I think the bright side of this is that he's actually not run horrible. I think back to Daytona, he was in a position, he was running 4th or 5th, with just a few laps to go, got in a wreck with Josh Berry. So they've had pretty good speed. They just haven't been able to put the whole finish together, but they will turn this around. He's a great driver. We know that he's been able to win in the Xfinity Series in the past, and I think that he'll be able to do it again this year.
Of course, he mentioned that he's a hometown boy. Another hometown boy who's had quite the start to the season is, of course, RCR driver Austin Hill. Hill openly said that he wants to prove that he belongs in this series, winning races, contending for titles, and guess what? He's doing just that right now. Adam Alexander had a chance to catch up with him.
I mean, if you go back a year ago right now, you had the win at Daytona, but there were so many unknowns beyond that. Now you're a rookie of the year in the Xfinity Series. You have 2 Daytona wins.
He's going to go back-to-back as a winner at Daytona. Austin Hill is...
How have expectations for you changed in the last year?
Well, I've always had pretty high expectations going into any race season.
Off turn 2, Austin Hill is there.
You just have to have that mindset. If you don't have that confidence in yourself and that mindset, then it can weigh on you in the wrong way.
I hear that word confidence a lot. Where have you grown most as a driver?
I've always been an aggressive driver, but, you know, as I'm coming up through the ranking, I had to kind of manage that aggression level. You know, you don't want to give up spots, but there's always that risk versus reward that I kind of weigh out, and I think that's something that's worked pretty well for me in the last few years.
Austin Hill holds him off. He wins in Georgia.
Home sweet home.
We did it.
What are your first memories of this place as a race fan when you were a little kid?
I was always a huge Jeff Gordon fan because my dad was, and I do remember having a Jeff Gordon jumpsuit look like a race suit on, walking through the garage just trying to get autographs.
Driving through. Here comes Austin Hill, the pass for the lead.
And then I started racing here when I was 9 years old. You know, at a young age, you don't know what you're doing. My dad and I, when we first got into the Bandolero stage, we kind of was doing it on our own a lot. Putting springs on the car, shocks on the car, and just going and racing. I just remember a lot of family time that we got to spend together.
We've discussed the relationship with you and your family, and in particular your dad. But now you're a dad. How do you balance being a dad and a driver in NASCAR?
It's not easy, to say the least. It really isn't. I mean, I have, 3 kids at home. They keep me on my toes. It makes it tough. I mean, my 7-year-old, she's old enough now to where she's like, man, Dad, why do you got to go? Why do you got to leave? And you hate missing things that your children are doing. But, I mean, I think they understand it, that Dad has to go to work and provide for the family. So, everyone will be here this weekend supporting me. So it adds a little bit of pressure to me. But, hopefully we'll be able to bring it home.
Perfect transition to what's next. Where do you want to take this whole thing?
I do want to go cup racing. It's obviously that's what everyone wants to do. As a little kid, that's what you dream of, is to race against the best in the business. So right now, I mean, I love where I'm at with RCR, but I would love to go cup racing next year if I could.
All right, so let's start there, Larry. Is he doing what he needs to do to make an impression to those guys in the Cup Series?
Well, I would say here in the early going of 2023, absolutely. We talked about it at the top of the show. 4 completely different tracks to start the season, the 2 wins, 4 top 10s. And I know we've not turned a single lap this weekend. He's going to start third the way the field was set. But he's got to be the favorite. I mean, he finished second in this race a year ago. He won the July race. In fact, of the 7 restrictor plate super speedway type tracks we go to, he's won 3 of the last 7, and just what a start he's had. And I know that win was so special to him in July, his home track, but I've got to believe that Las Vegas win was special because he finally gets a win at a conventional mile-and-a-half racetrack.
The one thing that he has done, and he mentioned this, in the last year, he's proved that he can win at any type of racetrack. He was kind of known as a drafting guy a year ago, but he ran second at a road course at COTA last year, being able to win at Las Vegas, and he's just shown every single week that that car is capable of winning, and him as a driver is capable of winning.
You just saw that shot of him with his, kids. I mean, he's just such a likable guy. It's fun to watch him do what he's doing. Hey, these are 2 likable guys. Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, they're today's guest driver analysts. Yes, we've got sliced bread and everybody's favorite amigo. Should be a fun day in the broadcast booth. We'll hear from them coming up. Yes, it's Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the cars are on the grid.
Ready to go.
NASCAR doubleheader. We had the truck race earlier. We're getting ready for Xfinity. We got another 250 miles coming up at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Sammy Smith, last week's winner on the pole. John Hunter Nemechek will line up next to him. That, of course, is because qualifying was rained out yesterday. It's been, I guess I should say, a busy day at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Congratulations to Christian Eckes, who won earlier this afternoon. And, of course, that left the broadcast booth nice and warm for our friends calling the race. Last year's Sonoma Cup winner, Daniel Suarez, the defending champ and driver who flexed some muscle, winning the pole for tomorrow's race, Joey Logano. Adam, can you flex some muscle with those guys in the booth? Come on, man. Oh, we can't see it. There you go. There you go.
Don't rip your jacket. I'm busting right out of my sport coat. Hey, speaking of wardrobe, I'm curious if Larry tied Jamie's tie, because, we work together here in the broadcast booth, and Suarez, that tie's looking really good.
It's looking good, eh?
Who tied that tie?
I wish I can say my mama, but my friend Adam right here. My friend Adam is the one that did it for me, because I'm a rookie on this.
Mama Double A. Pinch in and tie the tie today. We've been racing here at this racetrack since 1960. So many great moments over the history of NASCAR at Atlanta Motor Speedway. As you go back through time, what's your favorite moment here, Joey?
Well, so I lived here just outside of Turn 4, one of these condos, for 4 years, and my favorite memory has to be, we unloaded a Cup car here one time when I was 13 years old. They didn't know we were unloading a Cup car. And I got to make laps, and they were like, well, just go slow. You can't only run like a 38-second lap. I'm like, oh, okay. And it got close to lunchtime. If anyone knows my dad, they know how this went. He said, screw it, buddy, just go. We'll get thrown out of here. Who cares? Just go. And I went like 15 laps. They come down screaming and yelling. I kept on going. I didn't care. And yes, we loaded up and got kicked out of here. And eventually they let me back in, though, which is great because I'm here today.
Yeah, and you said earlier when you were telling that story, it was the most Tom Logano thing ever. Yes. How about you, Suarez? Favorite moment at Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Oh, man. Listen, that moment actually is a pretty good one for me. It's gonna be hard to compete with that experience that Joey had, but I'm looking forward to making my moment.
You go win tomorrow?
I don't have the moment yet. I want to make it.
You got your moment, right? I'll tell you mine. I have a favorite moment. I'm going to rewind all the way back. 2002. First career win for my man, Jamie McMurray, in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's a moment that will never be duplicated. He had won in the Cup car. It's like, when's he going to win an Xfinity race? And here it is. He gets it done. The celebration is on. Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief that day, he'll be on the pit box for Ryan Truex later this afternoon. That was good stuff right there, Jamie Mack. First to 2.
What Adam did was I dominated the race all day long. I didn't see Michael Waltrip one time. The reality is I only led like the last 2 laps because Michael ran out of gas and I went on to win.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I have the trophy is all that matters there. Thanks for the hit, Adam.
Yeah.
I think we should ask who used to dye his hair. I'm thinking that was like
bleach, Shannon. They didn't dye it. It was highlights, okay?
Tips.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
I'm not going to get in on that.
Yeah,
you have no grounds at all.
And I think it was Larry that actually did Jamie's tie for him, Adam. We'll see you guys in just a little bit. Yes, we're going to head back out to the track right now. Regan Smith is with the guy starting 5th today. That's Riley Herbst.
really consistent, a lot of speed out of this race car. Have we finally gotten to the level where you've got that confidence you need every week now?
I think the biggest thing, Regan, is that we're really just having fun. This is the most fun I've had at the racetrack in a long time. It reminds me of when I was 5, 6 years old going to the go-kart track with my dad. So I'm enjoying my life right now. I'm having so much fun in this Monster Energy Ford Mustang. And, man, hopefully we can get our first win here today, and it'd be really cool.
Good luck today. We can tell Shannon the fun. He's always smiling. Great conversations with Riley Herbst. He's going to have a good day today.
It's all that Monster Energy. I don't know who has more energy, him or Regan Smith.
Well, or you today, apparently. I mean, like, Shannon's doing pretty well.
It's the Starburst.
Yeah,
it's the pink Starburst that we had.
Riley Herbst, though, has been just the model of consistency. When you look, it goes back 7 races, all the way back to Miami of last year. He's been in the top 10 of all these races. And I think the best comparison for a driver is to look at your teammate. And when you look at him compared to Cole Custer, Custer obviously has led some more laps, has been able to qualify better. But, man, look at the top 10s and the average finish. And I picked Cole Custer, I thought, as a championship favorite because of that Cup experience he has. But, Larry, to use an analogy that you use, Riley Herbst is one of those guys that hits at 150, right down the middle, and is able to putt. He's just not throwing bombs, but very consistent.
Very consistent. Well, one thing we're not going to be consistent on today is Stump the Max. I'm so bummed we're not going to be able to do it. I know everybody at home is disappointed. I know the guys are disappointed. But we will be racing shortly here on FS1. We'll be right back. Welcome. Oh, that dog is styling.
That dog will hunt.
Oh my goodness, styling profile. He wants that
Look
bone.
at that bone.
Give it to me now. Oh my gosh. Do you think he can see through those glasses? It's like, yeah, I don't know. Let's look at some drivers.
I get to say it again. Chandler Smith, Talking Rock, Georgia, 7 career starts, but none at Atlanta. Did finish 4th in the truck race last year.
Yeah, you see Ryan Sieg right here. We talk about this being an opportunity race. He finished 8th at Daytona, so good on the drafting type tracks, and 15th and 10th in his 2 races here last year.
There's Chad Chastain, the younger brother of Ross Chastain. Not only is he running an Xfinity Series race, it's his first race. Spots for Ross at the road course.
Yeah, I had that great moment last year at Coto when Ross won. Got in the car with him, Shannon, and rode to victory lane with his brother.
Do we think we have a watermelon in the hauler?
I think Ross brings him one.
There you go. I don't know. We'll bring you one if you get the victory. We're going to go racing on the other side of the break. Adam and the guys will have it.
Chicago's seen it all, but it's never experienced anything quite like this. A 2-day racing and music festival featuring the Chainsmokers, Miranda Lambert, the Black Crowes, and Charlie Crockett. It's NASCAR in the streets of Chicago and so much more. The Chicago Street Race Weekend. For tickets and experiences, visit NASCARChicago.com.
These racers don't just drive. They're driven by one thing and one thing only, the sweet taste of victory lane. Young gun Sammy Smith got his first career victory last week in Phoenix.
Sammy Smith wins at Phoenix.
And he's coming back for more. But so is everyone else.
Big crash. Oh, my goodness.
Ready, green. Go, all the way out.
This is Atlanta.
In line, you're all
The
clear.
NASCAR Xfinity Series on FS1.
It's time for part 2 of our doubleheader on FS1 Fox NASCAR Live in Hampton, Georgia, home to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And today, hosting round number 5 in 2023 for the Xfinity Series. Joey Logano back in the booth, and so is the man that won the championship in an Xfinity car 2016, Daniel Suarez, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. He was celebrating then. We hope to replicate some of that excitement in the booth today. With Joey and Daniel, I'm Adam Alexander. So good to have you with us. Quick reminder, today we're amigos. Tomorrow out there, the two of you.
And amigos.
And amigos.
Right.
Although what I would say is you're going to be drafting, so tomorrow you might need to be amigos on track working together, because Atlanta now is a drafting track. How different is this place when you compare it to Daytona and Talladega?
I mean, for sure, you need amigos. That's for sure. You know, you have to find those people to work together, people that you can trust, and people that you can start moving forward. And track position is going to be very important. So So we see how Joey and I can hang out today, and then that will decide if we can be a little amigos tomorrow.
Little amigos. Yeah. Big amigos and little amigos.
What is the biggest difference here? Because I feel like you always have to be in attack mode, but this plays so much different than what we see at the other two tracks where the draft is a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, handling definitely comes into play. I always say Atlanta, ever since they repaved it, to me it's confused. It doesn't know what it wants to be. Handling is a big deal. Yet, yeah, you still are wide open all the way around, or almost wide open all the way around. We've seen in the truck race earlier that, yeah, the cars are on edge. They're sliding around and they're out of control, but you still got to be aggressive. You still got to know what line to be in at the right time. We've seen the top prevail at times. We saw the bottom prevail. I don't know what these Xfinity cars are going to be like. And guess what? The drivers don't either, because they didn't make any laps in these things.
And the guy that maybe is really on the hot seat is Sammy Smith. You go back to last week, 18 years old, fourth youngest winner in the history of the Xfinity Series. So he gets it done in Phoenix, starts on the pole today, but he's never been to Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's got his work cut out for him. We'll see how he handles it. Right now, we're going trackside.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Vice President of Sales, Global Finish at Exalta, Jim Muse. Drivers, start your engines.
We're all set to roll. In Hampton, Georgia, front row, all about Joe Gibbs Racing, John Hunter Nemechek, and our most recent winner, Sammy Smith. We're back in a moment.
Sunday on Fox. The NASCAR Cup Series hits the high banks of Atlanta. Frenzied pack racing, blistering speeds. This is a race of a different breed. NASCAR Cup Series and Better Health 400. Coverage begins Sunday at 2 Eastern on Fox.
We're at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
This is like the bull ring of super speedways.
Drivers, start your engines.
If there's a race where you're going to see a wild card winner, this could be it.
Easy, get that bottom.
Whoa! Oh, my goodness.
Wow, right behind you here.
And the caution will be out.
We're going to see that all day long.
34-time NASCAR Xfinity Series is raced at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Third time with this new configuration. Cool Saturday afternoon. 53 degrees. Clouds are out. And lots of wind, as you saw, as the American flag blowing there on the back straightaway. Last time we were here, much warmer. It was July. Austin Hill didn't mind the heat. He was able to get it done, getting his second career victory, first at his home track. He grew up in Winston, Georgia, an hour drive away. He's been on a roll ever since. Last year's Rookie of the Year, two-time winner this year. Starting third, let's go from the driver's seat with driver 21.
Let's dial him up. Austin Hill, Joey Logano in the Fox booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. Well, you had a good start. You've won at Daytona. You've won at Vegas. Now you got a track that's in between that you've already won at last year. And it's your home track. Things are looking good for you, even though you haven't made a lap in this thing yet. We're thinking you look pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel really good about it with our finish Chevrolet. I think that with it being a super speedway style track, you know, RCR brings really fast race cars each and every week, but especially on these super speedway tracks. So hopefully we can keep this thing up front all day. You know, nice smooth pit stops in the pits. My guys have been doing an excellent job on pit road each and every week. So hopefully we can keep that up, keep it up front, where our car likes to be, and be there at the end, see if we can't get another one.
Well, we'll know how your car is doing because we got your heart rate monitor on as well. So if that thing's up there, we'll know you're hanging on.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But no, this should be a fun one today. So hopefully everyone watching at home and you guys in the booth enjoy it.
All right, brother. Good luck.
Thank you.
Joey mentioned the wins for Austin Hill at Las Vegas and Daytona. A hot start for him for sure. Hasn't been outside the top 10, just like John Hunter Nemechek, who won at California a few weeks ago. The average finish for both, 3.75 through 4 races. Let's hear from Nemechek. Go ahead and dial him up, Daniel.
Hey, John Hunter Nemechek, how are you doing, amigo? This is Daniel Suarez up in the booth. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got you, amigo. What's going on?
Not much, buddy. Here, ready to watch you guys perform and have some fun. You know, we're watching the truck race. It looks like you had a fast one there. I'm pretty sure you learned a thing or two. You know, what can you tell us, you know, what you learned on the truck race that you are going to be able to apply for the Xfinity race now?
Yeah, I feel I learned some things in the truck race there as far as building runs and trying to go different places and how the line moved up. We're not busting our tails like you guys were in qualifying earlier today. So I feel like groove has moved around, track has rubbered up some, balance changed a little bit. So hopefully our Volvo 1 GR Supra is as fast as Xfinity G here today. And hopefully we can stay up front, work with teammates. And who knows how the strategy is going to play out. I feel like there's going to be a lot of differing strategies today. So just got to stay calm all day and be there at the end.
Sounds good, buddy. Well, stay warm down there. Have some fun. We will be watching. Have fun.
Busy day for John Hunter Nemechek. Busy day for our pit reporters as well. In fact, you know, Regan Smith, the driver that's won in the draft at both Daytona and Talladega, so he knows all about this style of racing. What do you have for us, Regan?
Well, Adam, it's been a busy week for Sammy Smith. Of course, getting that first career win last week at Phoenix in only his 4th full-time start on the series. I asked him earlier today if that surprised him or not. He said not really. He anticipated that they'd be able to win within the first 6 or 7 races of the season. I asked him what his thoughts were for what's going to happen this afternoon on the track as he leads the field of green. He said, what is the grip level going to be? That is his biggest concern right now. Crew Chief Jeff Mendring said, even though we've got that win, we still have a ton of stuff to learn this year, chemistry being one of them, and learning each other and what moves they're going to make as the season goes on if they're going to go race for a championship. Josh Sims?
Well, you know, Regan, anytime you're racing a part-time schedule, you have to make the most of each and every opportunity you get. That is the case for Ryan Truex, who in his first start of the season of only 6 starts this year, finished second, battled his way up to get that second-place finish, and he said that proved a lot, not just to everybody out here, but proved to himself that he could still compete at a high level. Well, now he turns the page towards Atlanta, a place he finished 3rd last year, and he told me, you know what, I feel very confident going into this race, but here's another added bonus for him. Today is his birthday. Said he's never raced on his birthday, and maybe that is the missing piece for him to finally get his first career win, guys.
Ryan Truex hoping to blow out the candles and celebrate on the front straightaway here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Not just a win, but his birthday. So the fellas, you saw on pit road. I mean, we had the weather. We know it's cold. We saw them in those big, thick jackets on the pit lane. But can you imagine how cold it's going to be today on the spotter stand? And I know Coleman Presley is saying, why did I agree to be the spotter analyst for Atlanta? Coleman, welcome. Stay warm, my friend.
Thank you, Adam. I agreed to do it because we're in for a really great racing here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Looking back at both races last year here, both races were entirely different. The first race, cool temperatures, a lot more pack racing. We come back here in the summer, a lot more handling come into play. This race, starting here in the afternoon, very cold outside. I expect a lot of pack racing, and because of that, I'm looking at Austin Hill and his spotter, Derek Nealon, to have a lot of success today. Derek's coming off a runner-up finish in the Truck Series race earlier today. I spoke with him. He has a lot of confidence. He's going to use this first stage to see how the racing's playing out, work on his choose, and then go from there and be ready to attack at the end of the race.
You know, Coleman brings something up there talking about the choose, and there's going to be a lot of conversation between these drivers and their spotters, no doubt about that today. What role, one, do you want your spotter to play in the choose, and how big of a factor could that be as we go throughout the day as you take a look at our race analysis?
Well, I mean, the choose is going to evolve, right? As drivers figure out what lane's working, what lane works for their own car as well. And so you got to kind of take into consideration as the race goes that my car might be better on the bottom. Maybe I can pull a lane around. Maybe I have a fast car and I can make that happen. Or I don't have a fast car and maybe I need to play it safe and take the top lane. I think it all depends. And then it also depends on just in general how the race is going, right? We saw the truck race earlier today where there was 7 or 8 cars that would take the top lane before someone would take the bottom. It was like, oh my goodness, right? So, and then at the end of the race, the bottom ended up working out pretty well. So I think it's going to evolve and change, and it's the spotter's job to be able to see all that and relay that information to the driver to make the best choices when it comes to the choose.
We saw the race analysis. We really don't anticipate there will be any scheduled green flag pit stops today, but we've added a lap so the drivers can one more time make a run down pit road and make sure they have all their settings, because pit road entry here totally different than what it's ever been. Because we're in the draft and for safety purposes, NASCAR has put pit road entry at turn 3 rather than off at turn 4. I don't know how much impact it's going to have today. Could be a game changer for you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, what it does is pit road got way longer, a lot longer. Here you're going to see it. Entering all the way back in turn 3. Now, the reason for doing this is if someone had to make a green flag pit stop, there was no area to decel before you got on the pit road. So you'd be decelling in the middle of the pack and most likely cause a huge crash. So NASCAR recognized this, worked with the drivers. This is the best option we can come up with. Entering down there, it does make pit road a lot longer. So if you have to make a green flag stop and you have a penalty, oh no, amigo, you're in trouble. You're a couple laps down to serve that one.
Hey, we talked about Sammy Smith and all the success winning last week in Phoenix. There's another Smith that is a rookie that's been impressive. Chandler, 3 consecutive top 5, starting 6 today.
All right, boys. Another weekend to have an opportunity to go do our best. I appreciate all you guys for the hard work, getting back on the East Coast, getting the swing of things over here. Thank you for the effort on the West Coast. Continue the momentum.
And we're not just back on the East Coast. We're near his hometown of Talking Rock, Georgia. One of 5 drivers racing today that would celebrate a victory at home if they're able to get that checkered flag. Talked about Austin Hill. You just saw Chandler Smith. These are the drivers from Georgia. Got the Sieg brothers from Tucker racing the 28 and the 39 today. And, of course, Brandon Jones made the move of the offseason from Joe Gibbs Racing to Junior Motorsports. He'll drive that 9 car. He's from right here in Atlanta.
You know, Adam, I've been actually very impressed with Chandler Smith, you know, with the speed, consistency, and how well he's been racing the first few races of the season. So I'm really looking forward to see him, you know, with a few races under his belt, you know, with the same team and see what he can do, you know, after the West Coast swing that, in my opinion, he had a very successful one.
You know, something I think about these Georgia boys, right, that run here. A lot of them grew up racing right where they're at right now. You turn down into the infield. That's the quarter mile here. I've cut my teeth here as well for quite a few years, but that's something that I remember as a kid, always running my Legends car at Bandolero, looking at the big track and turn 1 saying, man, someday I just dreamed to make a lap on the big track. Like, that's what I wanted so bad. These guys are living out their dream on the big track. I don't let that dream go away from my memories, right? It's so many times you get so stuck into your own little world of racing and so focused in. You need to remember that this is still a dream come true. So and I think for these guys, it's definitely that.
That means that you accomplished your dream when you were 13.
That's what I was going to say. That was a great story on race day.
I was by myself, though, and I still haven't won here in the big track, so I got to figure that part out.
Hey, we took a look at the series standings after we exit the West Coast swing and get ready to run some races back here on the East Coast. Austin Hill at the top. You see the drivers highlighted that have won. So Hill, Nemechek, and the rookie Sammy Smith locked into the playoffs. Allgaier is up there despite his late problems last week. A couple of names to focus on. We mentioned Chandler Smith, and Daniel, you said he's been impressive. Riley Herbst, 5th in points when you look at the overall point standings because he's been top 10 every race. Very consistent. This has been a good track for him. He was solid here last year. I would anticipate the 98 could keep that run going here today. So we're finally ready to go green. Sammy Smith, pole sitter, takes the outside lane. I'm assuming maybe he works with his teammate John Hunter Nemechek here at the start. We'll see how it plays out. He's got his teammate behind him as well.
I don't think it happens here. It may happen, but you know, Sammy Smith's going into the corner for the first time, never really driving an Xfinity car here to have any idea what's about to happen. So good luck, buddy.
He's got a lot on his mind. Part 2 of our NASCAR doubleheader, the Xfinity Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Off we go.
Both lines, they look very, very organized. Looks to me that the 18 is going to get the extra help first, and he's going to be able to get going. But the 21 is right there, and he has a lot of experience. So the bottom is going to start moving forward pretty quick too.
They're not wasting any time pushing, that's for sure. I don't know what your car's like, but I'm going to push you.
It actually worked the other way. Nemechek gets the shove, slides up in front of his teammate. Top 3 outside lane, all from Joe Gibbs Racing.
And some of this is everyone getting comfortable still, right? Like, and when you look at Daytona, Talladega, you can kind of see what runs are going to happen with and how things are moving.
Here, second king.
We almost have a caution here.
Yep, early caution. Lap 2. It happened in turn 1. And we'll go back and pick it up with John Hunter Nemechek out front. That's the 53 of Joey Gase. Heavy damage to that race car. Good news, the window net is down for Joey, indicating to our AMR safety team that he is okay.
Let's see what happened here. I believe it's in the back of your screen here. Oh.
It looked maybe something broke or something. It was kind of like in the middle of the straightaway.
It looks like something happened to the 66. He came down and hooked the 53.
66 Cesar Baccarella making his first start of the season. Co-owner of Alpha Prime Racing is Cesar Baccarella with Tommy Joe Martins. He will race from time to time.
Something happened there to his 66. So strange how he got loose in a straight line.
Slow start for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Atlanta. Top 3, all about Joe Gibbs Racing. Here's what's brought out our first yellow flag of the afternoon. I've had crews tell me, you know, the driver he lives at the racetrack. Joey Logano literally lived at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And based on your stat line in Legends cars, you own this place.
We had some fun. It was me and my dad. Look at his jorts. They're awesome. You know, it was cool earlier. We won the pole, which is great. And I was walking into victory lane, and I was thinking about that moment. Like the moments when we were able to, you know, win the Legends car races with your family, and you drive in there and you think it's just cool that you're in victory lane at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's just the coolest.
You know something is funny, Joe, is that since you were very little, you smile and I can see your eyes.
You couldn't see my eyes then either. Well, nothing's changed. That's where I lived. I lived on the third row down from the top, 3 over. That was 805. That was 805. Her. That was her, yeah.
You know, we found this great video of you racing Legends cars in Albany, Georgia, short track. And the PA announcer kept calling you, look at the little man. You were like 9 or 10 years old.
About 9,
and look at the little man. And Joey beats that night a man who was in his 60s. And he's 9 or 10 years old. And he interviews you and he says, it looks like he's got a high chair inside that car. It's great.
There's a lot of good memories down there. And when a bunch of people from Connecticut go to South Georgia to race Legends cars, it's an interesting kind of dynamic, as you can imagine.
Brandon Jones going to make a pit stop here. We got a report there could be a little damage there. Been a tough start for the driver from right here in Atlanta as he's made that move over to Junior Motorsports.
You can see the nose was knocked in there a little bit. You know, there's going to be a lot of bumping and shoving going on, but that's a fair amount of damage.
Yeah, you can see how the left front is a little split.
The hood, I think that gap in the hood is what I'd probably be the most nervous about. They'll probably throw some bear bond on that.
Here he is, Josh.
Yeah, and what you guys were talking about, exactly the problem for the 9 of Brandon Jones. Got some damage on the front nose off the start of that race. They were debating whether or not to come in, and when the caution came out, they're like, let's come in, let's fix that. It's early in the race, so we have time to make it up, but they wanted to make sure they get that damage fixed out good, so he's good to go after this, guys.
Yeah, this is a good time to take care of it. Early caution, plenty of opportunity to rebound. And I mentioned the fact that it's not been the move that Brandon Jones wanted, the success out of the gates that he would have hoped for. You compare the 9 in 2023 versus what Noah Gragson was doing driving that vehicle out of the gates last year. Totally different. But Brandon has had a lot of bad luck. And I was talking to his crew chief, Jason Burdett, in the garage yesterday, and he said, you know what? We feel great about where we are. Things have not gone our way. Some of it with self-inflicted wounds. Some of it are things that just have been out of our control. But he's got so much confidence in Brandon. And I will tell you, Brandon is a driver that you just root for. This team believes in him. And maybe today, but if not today, in the near future, you'd love to see him get things turned around as they patch up that number 9 Chevrolet.
Yeah, I think that stat might not be fair to look at quite yet. Noah raced at that team for a few years. They had that chemistry built up. give them a chance. It's still early in the season.
Yeah, I totally agree with Joey. You know, the crew chief is different. Who knows what else in the team is different. So it's still pretty early. Still pretty early in the season. I know Brandon is putting the work. You know, I see him a few days a week, and he's training. He's putting the work, and I'm sure that he's going to be able to turn things around.
Let's listen in on 16 team radio. Chandler Smith.
These cars, it's harder to pull on a line and make moves with this package compared to a truck race. Yeah, for sure. You know, it doesn't have that. It's not punching as big a hole as like a truck would. So when you got that run and pull out, you kind of keep more momentum than these things. These things kind of stall out a lot easier.
We'll see what the bottom does here, but I feel like the top's going to roll for sure.
Well, what I really think's happened, I think the racetrack's gave up so much grip from last year to now that it makes everybody edgy, and I think you just run the top just to have the handle, you know?
This is all after one lap. We got all this information. We had one lap. We got to figure it out now, boys. No, I think, you know, they got to make a few laps to kind of figure it out. But I think they're trying to think like, hey, what is the preferred lane here? What lane do I want to choose on this restart? And also, do I need to be looking to get up at some point? You know, it looked like cars were hanging on a fair amount the first lap there, but as you see cars that handle good, they'll migrate to the front, and the best will end up being there.
The Gibbs cars were 1, 2, 3, but all three choose that outside lane. It was working for them before the caution came out, and they like where they are outside of it.
Yeah, they're going to start working together since right now, you know, and they already showed the card, and it's good. You know, they're already going to be able to understand what is good and what is bad about their cars, and try to go to the front. And yeah, we see what they can do together on this restart.
A line of Toyotas outside, a line of Chevys inside. We return to the green flag stage 1 at Atlanta.
Those two Gibbs cars working really well together, pulling that top lane there. Hard to compete against that. When you get two team cars working together, they got the same engines, they got all the same stuff. It seems like you can pull them along pretty good.
Team cars right behind him as well. Heard the radio from Cole Custer, his teammate Riley Herbst right behind him. 0098 from Stuart Haas.
You know, you can see immediately these cars are not handling great. That's for sure.
You know, something I noticed is that Sammy Smith on the 18, he's having some handling issues because he hasn't been able to get connected with the 20, and he opened the door a little bit, and the 21 took advantage of that, and now he's running the third car on the top lane. Yeah, he's just not very, very happy, and he doesn't feel comfortable just yet.
Oh, look at the 21 chase it all the way up into the second lane. I mean, it might have been a decent block at the same time, but I think with the back wiggling up the racetrack is definitely telling us something.
Yeah, I mean, here right now, they're just trying to understand what the car has, right? But for sure, it looks like the top is a little bit safer just because you have a little bit less wheel, right? So maybe those issues on the balance can be, you know, just adjusted a little bit more when you're on the second lane.
Well, that's where you don't want to be, down the middle with no help on either lane. Now as he kind of blends into second, but this 25 car up top, look at this move.
He's going places.
I hear you, Moffitt. Get it done.
Brett Moffitt hammered down on the outside lane, another one of those Fords, and his team does have an alliance with Stuart Haas, and he's right behind them. Let's watch what happens with Josh Berry, the 8 that we saw going in the wrong direction. Boy, that could have been a big moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is having issues with balance right now. The 21 looks like he's already in the lead, and he's already took advantage of that. But everyone is unhappy with their cars, and they're just trying to figure out how to make it better with a little bit of adjustments inside the car and wait for the first caution.
How about Austin Hill? I mean, you know what? You pick up where you left off. So good at Daytona in the draft, and then he comes back here to Atlanta where he won a season ago. He is just confident at making things happen.
Textbook move right there, getting the run down into the corner, taking the shortest distance approach, being able to clear him and get back up. Now, if he wasn't able to clear him there, he was going to be in trouble. You know, being stuck on the bottom.
Trouble.
Oh, we got a big wreck here.
26 Kaz Grala, 4 Garrett Smithley. Second caution of the day.
I'm telling you guys, these cars are a handful right now. I mean, low temperatures, nobody knows exactly what they got. These cars are so difficult to drive right now.
Jeffrey Earnhardt also received some damage in that crash.
We wrecked a few of them here.
Let's go back and see what happened, bringing out the caution one more time. All of this happened outside the top 25.
Because we have to also keep something in mind, Adam. You know, the more far back you are, the car is going to drive worse. So if the guys up front are struggling, you know, the guys in the back are even worse.
Now, Garrett Smithley is still in his car with the window net up. And there goes the window net. And this is what he said or the team said on the radio.
You all right? Yeah, go freaking high. Are you kidding me? They were spinning down low. I told you to check up, and they were down low, and then they got hit and went up high.
Ooh. Let's see what happened here. Well, the wreck's already started here. Wreck kind of went up the racetrack. There's the 4. Kind of know where to go. Once you commit to a lane, you're kind of committed. And for the driver, it's hard, right? Like right there, look at, you can't even see the 4 in the smoke. That means he can't see where he's going either. And so he's 100% relying on the spotter. Coleman, what's that like for you?
Well, obviously, it's a very difficult situation. With the high banking, you kind of look at it as a Bristol-type incident that it's going to funnel down. But because they wrecked so low, the momentum carried them up the track. So that's a 50-50 split decision. I get it. That's a tough position to be in, and unfortunately, he caught the bad end of it.
I mean, you got to say something, right? Like you got to say something, and sometimes I mean, the driver's holding the steering wheel. That's the bottom line. The driver can decide where this car is going to go no matter what, and it relies on you. But I do see in that situation, as a driver, you can't see when there's smoke. You're blind. You might as well close your eyes. So you're relying 100% on the information that you're hearing, and it's just part of racing.
So we're cleaning up our second caution of the day. Not even halfway home in our opening stage. Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, John Hunter Nemechek, the top 3 at Atlanta. Tomorrow on Fox, the best bowlers in the world battle it out for a major championship. Who will answer the call to greatness? The PBA Tournament of Champions tomorrow, noon Eastern time on Fox. Best bowling score posted by the two of you ever was what?
You might see 3 digits, maybe. Most likely not.
I still have to play with the little things on the sides.
The bumpers?
Nah, just kidding. Yeah, the bumpers. No, but I'm a straight shooter. Can you guys make it spin like sideways? I can't do that.
No, I'm a straight shooter. I like that. We're straight shooters up here.
If I make it spin, it's unintentional. What's up, Regan?
Well, Adam, the 21 car of Austin Hill, of course, out front, looking strong early on in this race, but when the yellow came out, maybe some concern from the driver of something going on within the steering system right now.
Doesn't just feel right in the steering. I don't know, can't really pinpoint it, but it's like, doesn't feel like I'm losing power steering, but it just feels weird with the front tires. I can't explain it.
You know, I wonder if something that has something to do with the weather. You know, we haven't run many laps. It's super cold, you know, outside right now. I wonder if things are not up to temperature just yet.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, sometimes the car with low air pressure before it gets built up. I think we didn't race many laps yet. There's been a lot of cautions to start this thing. Maybe low air pressure kind of gets that squirmy feeling, possibly, or. I mean, if it's not that, he's got what he's got at this point. They're not coming in and fixing it, I don't believe, especially as the leader.
Cleanup continues, so we're going to slide in one more break before we return to the green flag. Hill, Creed, Nemechek, Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith, your top 5. Couple of early cautions, and the fans not believing what they're seeing at Atlanta Motor Speedway. When you have early cautions, you get a little bit out of the box on TV. We're talking good hair. That's some good hair.
No one's beating this guy.
Best beard in Georgia right here.
100%.
That's like ZZ Top-esque. Let's go best hair.
Oh, wow.
In the Xfinity Series, and I'm going to tell you what, it is flowing for Josh, Ryan, and Kyle.
So best hair means longer. That's what I'm understanding here.
I guess.
Is that right? So you can even play, Adam.
I'm out of this game. I've been eliminated.
Oh, look at that guy. That's
Hey,
so funny.
it's kind of like far off these days for me, guys. I'm getting there.
It's kind of like your bowling game. When I'm talking hair, I use the bumpers. You know what I mean? I need a little bit of a handicap to help get me in the game. We interviewed Truex last week. And,
look at this guy.
That's a winner right there.
Is that Sheamus a little bit
looks
from the
like
WWE?
him, doesn't it? Yes. Yes.
We had Josh Williams on the board, one of the great veterans in the Xfinity Series. Let's learn more about the driver born in Florida. Last week.
Look at this guy.
That's a winner right there.
Is that Sheamus a little bit
looks
from the
like
WWE?
him, doesn't it? Yes. Yes.
We had Josh Williams on the board, one of the great veterans in the Xfinity Series. Let's learn more about the driver born in Florida.
Hey everybody, Josh Williams here, driver number 92 Cool Ray Chevrolet for DGM Racing. I was born in Port Charlotte, Florida. I've been racing in the Xfinity Series since 2017. I think everybody's goal in motorsports to make it a Cup Series, so that's where we're headed.
If you watched our practice and qualifying shows, you know how much Michael Waltrip and I love to celebrate Josh Williams because he's not just a driver. He does everything for this race team, and I'm excited for he and that group because they come back here this year. Mario Goslin put 2 cars in the top 10 in this race a season ago. This is the kind of day where a driver like this can make a big splash.
And you know what? I hope he does. Josh Williams is a great person. That's the other thing about it. He's not going to brag about it because that's not who he is. But this man goes to a children's hospital every single weekend, dressed up in his fire suit, and goes says hello to the kids in the hospital. He doesn't go out there and brag about it or talk about it or anything like that. That's what makes it even more special. He does it quietly, and he really makes an impact for these kids. Just a really good person and kind of an untold story.
Now the sponsor, and we love, sponsors on these cars, especially for the smaller teams. Cool Ray, not as appropriate today. We need to get him back on the car in July because Mother Nature did not agree today. We've turned the heater on. We'll do the air conditioning thing when we come back here in the summer. So Cool Ray, come back for the summer race here and support Josh Williams again.
We typically call it Hot Lana.
Yeah, yes,
not
we did.
Today.
Yeah,
Cold Lana.
Hey, by the way, this is not the same Josh Williams that will be spotting for your teammate Ryan Blaney tomorrow. There are two Josh Williams in the garage, one driving for Mario Goslin, one will be on the spotter stand tomorrow as we check in on the weather. That's right.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hey, we pop Ryan Blaney tomorrow. NASCAR stars will be out in the Cup Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway, hosting NASCAR's best pre-race coverage. Starts here on FS1 1:30 with race day. Over to Fox at 2. Our race day coverage continues until 3 when we will be green. Logano won the pole earlier today. Suarez starting 25th. No problems to work your way through the field in the draft.
No, we should be fine. We should be fine. We just didn't have a lot of speed in qualifying for whatever reason, but tomorrow is going to be a long race, and if the car handles the way that we're hoping, we're going to be up there battling with my amigo today and amigo tomorrow, Joey.
What I see them doing here in the 9, they're retaping that gap there from the bumper to the hood. And they tried to tape that down the first time. It must have blown off or didn't stick good enough. So they're giving another shot at it here.
We've hit the halfway point in stage 1. Cleanup, I do believe, is just about there. Green flag when we come back to Atlanta. The faces of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Ryan Sieg looking for his first win. In fact, those first 3 drivers Would love to get it done today. Austin Hill said, forget about you. I'm going for the hometown hat trick. A win this afternoon would be his 3rd of the season. So we bring up the status bar, and I like it when there's a lot of green, a lot of yellow today. 7 green flag laps compared to 14 caution laps so far. I'm curious, though, with no practice this weekend, and there was none scheduled. We were just planning to come here qualify and race, but qualifying washed out yesterday. I mean, how hard is it to find a rhythm and get yourself going at a place like Atlanta, given the format of this race now?
Yeah, I mean, either way, they weren't going to get the practice.
Right. Yep.
You're going to get 1 lap of qualifying, maybe, and that was it. But and you don't really learn a whole bunch. It's the same situation we're in tomorrow when the race starts. We're going to be like, well, I don't know what our cars got, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see. And even though we got 1 lap of qualifying in, so these guys are coming in blind. And, we heard some of the drivers talking about maybe the track has a little less grip, has another year on it. I don't know. Well, I don't think any of us knows kind of how the track is weathered and those type of things. But I will say the cars look unstable, and I think that's why they're wadding them up.
Austin Hill making some observations, the race leader.
Wasn't the best, so I'm just sitting here thinking, putting stuff in the memory bank for later. Well, don't overthink it. I wish I had your memory bank, because I'd be lost right now if I had as much stored in there as you do. Yeah, I hear you on that. The crazy thing is, if I have to remember anything else, I'm screwed. But if it's something to do with driving the race car, we're good.
Well, good thing that's his job.
I will say, though, he's a father of 3. I feel like the memory starts to wane once you have kids. I've never believed it's old age. I think children start pulling cells out of your brain. I don't know if Logano's experiencing that yet. I'm feeling that
it's
at my
the lack
stage
of
of the
sleep.
game.
There's no more sleep. The sleep goes away, and the note-taking goes up. You have to write everything down. Whatever you think you're going to remember,
write it down.
Write it down. It's either that or the walls that we hit. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm going to go with the kids.
Regan, what's up?
Well, Adam, we just heard that radio from Austin Hill about overthinking things right now. Andy Street, a race that starts like this with so much yellow flag, you just mentioned to him to not overthink things. How do you keep a driver focused right now?
Well, he's so focused on everything right now. He's trying to get everything out of the race. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going green here and got our teammate behind us here. So hopefully we'll get a good restart here and have a good finish in this first stage.
We heard some concern over the steering box. Anything we need to worry about as the race goes on?
No, he was saying it's just a little different, but everything was good. So I think we'll be all right.
Good luck. Thanks, Andy.
Hey, we're still making some laps here under caution. Let's visit with Sammy Smith. Started on the pole. 5th is where he is right now before the choose, Joey.
Let's dial him up. Sammy Smith, Joey Logano in the Fox booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, man. You had a heck of a week last week. You started on the pole this week. That's great. You're getting used to the car. You first time around here in an Xfinity car. What's it like so far? You got your teammates around you. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's rough, bumpy, but definitely having a lot of fun here. Our Toyota Giro Supra isn't as fast as Xfinity 10G yet, but got to work on some handling issues. But I'm sure the guys will do a good job, and we'll be up there by the end of the race.
I mean, it sure looks like everyone's pretty sideways. You loose in there as well?
Yeah, we're finding a little bit tight on exit, just getting tight behind guys and having to lift and kill my runs down the straightaway. So got to work on that, and hopefully we get it fixed by the end of the race.
Well, it sure sounds better than some of the way they look out there. So have fun, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I don't know what it is about drivers named Smith in the Xfinity Series. Regan had so much success driving for Junior Motorsports. And these 2 young studs doing a great job. Both of them running for Rookie of the Year. Sammy for Joe Gibbs Racing. Chandler for Colleague. And while Chandler hasn't won yet, really close to getting it done in Las Vegas, you saw the consistency with 3 consecutive top 5s. And here are the updated rookie points. Chandler out in front of Sammy. And that's a race that we will follow all season long as we hit the choose, which means we're getting close to a restart.
This is the question, right? What lane do you want to be? It looks like, the top 2 take the top. And then it looks pretty close to 50-50 on back.
Manufacturers, man, teammates.
Yes.
You can see all 3 teammates in the bottom, all 3 teammates on the outside, so that they're going to start working together.
And I don't know, Daniel, how much teammates matter at Atlanta compared to other super speedways. I don't know if you have an opinion on this or not, but I feel like when the handling comes into play as much as we've seen it come in here, I don't know if it's as much of working together, like just a little bit maybe, but if you're handling good, you can make it on your own.
Oh, I agree. I feel like the only little advantage of knowing that you have your teammate back in your rear bumper is that maybe he's going to be a little bit more loyal, you know, than if someone else was in the back. But I agree. If your car is not handling well, they're going to leave you teammate or no teammate.
Yeah, the outside lane, all Chevys, 3 of them up there. Austin Hill with his teammate Sheldon Creed right behind him. Then Chandler Smith down low. The teammates from Joe Gibbs Racing. John Hunter Nemechek, Sammy Smith, and Ryan Truex. Ryan Sieg has worked his way into the top 10. A bunch of Fords back there after that. You got Cole Custer, I mentioned Sieg, Riley Herbst, Brett Moffitt. So all 3 manufacturers represented in the top 10. If you're just joining us, a couple of early cautions, and this second one of the day has lasted 20 minutes. Only 7 green flag laps so far in this race. Opening stage, 40 laps. There will be 16 to go as we turn them loose one more time at Atlanta.
Go another equal restart on the front row there. Everyone timing it fairly okay. You think they're both going to get their pushes down the back straightaway close to the same time for both lead cars.
Maybe the top is a little bit tighter, a little bit more organized. I think the top is going to start working right here, just because the bottom is all starting to get more and more breakaway. But I just don't see a huge advantage for either lane. I feel like if they're well organized, both lanes can move forward, looks like.
You see his top 3 cars able to clear out there. But the bottom, everyone's bailing on the bottom. The only thing that's left is the Gibbs cars on the bottom. That's not many cars, and they're even bailing. So it definitely looks like the top's about to prevail.
I think the 18 is still struggling with handling. I mean, you can see how he cannot get close to the 20 car. I think that you know, they have some work to do to be able to push a line forward. Right now, he's just, you know, one more car out there that is trying to make something happen without success.
You see a move right behind this to Justin Haley. He decided to go. Oh, here we go. Another yellow.
The 02 Kyle Weatherman, back-to-back top 20s driving that 02 for Our Motorsports. Had a great run here last year. Third caution of the day, and it comes out with 14 laps to go in stage 1. Weatherman was running inside the top 15 when he had his problem.
Let's see what happened there. You see him there on the top side, gets loose, get in the corner, and just around she goes, collecting the 27 there.
It was Jeb Burton in the 27.
Here's another view. You see him, that yellow car in the top, just steps out on him pretty early in the corner.
Seems to me that whoever was behind the 02, he was on his left rear, and probably that didn't help the situation there.
Mentioned Jeb Burton. Josh Williams also with some damage on the right front.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage there. Whole hood's wrinkled up. You know, you come into this race, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but you feel like in disappointment here is Weatherman going to take that thing to the garage. But you feel like this is such an opportunity race for some of these underdog teams to deliver. And if you look at the results last year, we saw some of that. Some really good cars in that category being eliminated early on. Jeb Burton getting taped up. One career win for him. It came in the draft at Talladega a couple of years ago. So they'll be inside at 10 laps remaining. Stage 1 when we come back here to Atlanta Motor Speedway. 11 laps remaining, opening stage, Atlanta Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Already under our third caution of the afternoon with Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez. I'm Adam Alexander. And we did have some takers that decided to come down pit road here under this caution. And really, with all the caution laps we've had, based on the fuel mileage they got here a year ago, everybody can go to the end of stage 2 if you chose to do that. We don't know with the teams that are staying out if they're thinking that or if they're going to pit at the end of stage 1. But for those that came down pit road here, what were they thinking, Regan Smith?
Well, and one of the cars that did come down pit road was the 18 of Sammy Smith. They've been struggling with that race car, though. I think this was strictly a play to try and get that car more comfortable with for him. He's been complaining about very tight off the corners, cannot get to the bumper of the car in front of him to push them and help make the runs better because of that. So this is more or less a handling pit stop for Sammy Smith. Josh?
Yeah, and the same deal for Sam Mayer in the 1. He was saying he was having trouble handling the corners just a little bit on the free side, so they elected to come in there, get 4 tires to see if they can help him out.
Sam Mayer's a driver that I want to watch today. I feel like this style of racing and this configuration really suits him, and he'll be coming from the back here on fresh tires as we do the choose. And once again, the Chevys go to the outside lane.
And just to touch on the strategy one more time, there's a couple different plays you can do here, right? When you get to the end of the stage, they can make it all the way to the end of the second stage. We're coming to the end of the first stage.
Yep.
They can go another 40 laps, especially with all these caution laps they've had. The problem with that is you're going to have a longer pit stop. Or the option B is pit at the end of the stage here, maybe put your 4 tires on there and then put only 2 tires on at the end of the second stage and run that out to the end. So there's a couple different options you can play this out as a crew chief. It'll be interesting to see what they do, when the next caution comes out here in 10 laps.
So
what look at this.
Oh. That didn't work.
That's a tape job gone bad.
Oh, geez.
Wardrobe malfunction on the 92.
Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah,
it is.
Oh, no.
Tape everywhere. No, that's not good.
I don't know if that fender's going to hang on there.
All right, there's going to be 9 laps remaining in the stage. Outside those Chevys, Hill, Creed, and Smith. And now it's Fords lining up down low. You got Cole Custer on the front row. Behind him, Ryan Sieg, Brett Moffitt in that mix. Parker Kligerman, give a call, is up in the top 10.
New players in the game, so we're going to see what the Fords now can do on the inside. See if they can, keep up with the Chevys on the outside.
And that's the risk they took on the choose, right? They got up there, says new players in the game. Well, a lot of them got back up there by choosing the inside lane.
Mention those 2 Fords down low. Toyota Ryan Truex right behind them in the 3rd row.
Well, so far the outside lane is just way better organized. But this looks like the bottom is coming. He's not too far behind.
Cole Custer, a couple of stage wins earlier this year in Fontana, California. Does he have what it takes to grab the top spot?
Gonna get on the outside here, even. Still outside even. Down. Caution's out for debris. Caution's out for debris.
And now debris. Well, this is what happens, right? You get the cautions. You try to repair the race car, and some of that patchwork comes apart, gets on the racetrack, and you have to throw the caution for debris. It's already 4 cautions on the day, and I have to believe it came off the 92 of Josh Williams.
Do you think?
There was more, there was more tape on that a minute ago. Yeah. It was a good guess, Adam.
Yeah.
Very good. Educated guess, I will say that. But
NASCAR insider Adam Alexander over here.
It's just such a big hole, in the right front fender that is very difficult without adding a piece of, plastic or fiberglass or whatever that thing is made. It's very difficult just to cover that with tape.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I thought it was going to be the whole fender laying on the ground. So I thought that thing's going to catch a good gust of wind underneath there and send it. But
92 going to the garage, done for the day for extending the caution period. So he will pull it in. Look at this. 10 green flag laps, 22 cautions. And I know when we came up here today, we said be prepared because we could have some cautions and a whole lot of adjustments to make to this racetrack and how cold it is and the grip level and all of that. I'm going to tell you, I would have lost on the over-under on this, even though I was fully prepared for a lot of yellow flags. Woo. We're going to have 5, at least 5, at the end of stage 2, because we're going to get, or end of stage 1, because we're going to get another one here in 7 laps.
The good thing is this should be a quick caution. Don't pick up the debris and get it one more run here. Coleman, you got something up there?
Yeah, let's just talk about the choose here for a little bit. Obviously, these really short runs, not many laps are happening on the racetrack to gain positions, but what's happening? Cole Custer restarted fourth going into the choose the front row. The caution comes out quick. He's running second now. Now we're going to come to the green here with probably 4 to 5 laps to go in this first stage. The risk is not huge to take the bottom. I don't know if necessarily you want to give up a lane, 2 lanes, sometimes 3 lanes, what these guys are doing. The risk isn't huge. Look for a lot of these guys to maybe just take shortest row at this point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, guys. Like the less laps there is, right? You've seen the more laps they keep going, the more the top keeps being the stronger lane and the bottom falls apart. But if you're able to survive in a shorter run, to Coleman's point, the risk is less. Might make sense to give it a shot.
I agree. I mean, right there, the 0-0. I mean, I don't know where exactly he was, but he gained a handful of positions just by choosing on the bottom. So yeah, I think the risk versus reward right now is definitely worth it.
Some big names coming down pit road with 7 to go on the stage. Josh?
Yeah, one of those big names, Ryan Truex, making just his second start of 6 on the season. They decided to come in and pit right now, get those 4 tires and fuel. Pretty happy with the way that car is handling those so far in the race, Regan.
Well, Josh, another car pit, and Justin Allgaier not so happy with that car in terms of the way that it's handling. It's been loose, it's been tight, it's been all over the place for him. The biggest issue, though, he's complaining about is he is actually having to lift in turns 3 and 4 right now because of how that car is handling. They're going to choose now to get some adjustments on that race car, hopefully make it a little bit better for later on in this race.
Josh Berry, you know, you look at his situation. He's had trouble the last 3 weeks. And each and every time he's overcome the adversity and battled back to finish inside the top 10. On a couple of occasions, he had 5th place finishes, a good indicator of where he might be over the long haul. And likely all these guys are going to be in line to gain some track position at the end of the stage if our front runners decide to come down when we wrap up stage 1. You know, I hope I'm in the building when Ryan Sieg gets his first career victory. I almost saw it happen at Iowa a number of years ago, and William Byron got him. And then a season ago here, you know, Joe, you and Brad and I were up here doing the race, and he nearly got it done. And look at this. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we're looking at Ryan Sieg, and he's currently running 4th. But that's Josh Williams, who was asked, as I told you, to go to the garage for extending the caution. The debris came off his car. He has parked his number 92 at the start-finish line, and he's walking to the garage. Look at this. What an exit.
Wave and see you later. Oh, no.
Well, he's not so happy now.
They made him park his car because he extended the caution, like you said. They didn't do a good enough job repairing the front end of it, which was obvious from here that they didn't do a good enough job keeping the tape on it. And then they parked him, and he said, fine, I'll park it right here on the start-finish line.
So, you know, you got that bare bond, and because it's so cold, that will just not stick as well in the colder conditions, and it blows off. So, you know, we saw him with it taped up, then we saw it all wrinkled, and then we saw it had disappeared. And then we got the caution for debris, and, you know, we assumed it was because some of that bare bond had come off the 92. I mean...
I'm sorry, that's a little funny.
Hey, where I came from, you get into a fight because of that.
I gotta go care center.
Regan, what's up?
Well, I'm down here. Josh Williams out of the race car right now. I do believe that they are going to make Josh go to the care center, but obviously very frustrated driver down here.
That was Mario Goslin that came in and talked to him there before he turned away, the owner of the race team. And they're great friends and have been working together for a long time. Let's listen in on their radio.
Apparently, if you get in a wreck of any kind and a piece of bare bond falls off you or out of the race because you littered the racetrack, yep, this is some bull, you know what. Never heard of this in my life. You can do whatever you want here. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm sorry.
Reed Sorensen is his spotter, and Reed was a great driver in the Xfinity Series many, many years ago, and he's from Georgia. And boy, just when you think you've seen it all, I
haven't seen that one yet. That's a new one.
That's a good one too.
I stopped short of calling that.
I like how chilled out he is.
Yeah.
Look at window down, hand out. Yep, I did that.
Hey, I asked you guys on race day what's your favorite Atlanta moment, and Joe
This
said,
one.
"Yeah, I was going to say that one."
I have one now.
We'll be talking about it for years. That move right there, and I got a feeling that he's probably going to be talking to NASCAR about it here later too. If I was a guessing man.
Going to be 3 to go in the stage, and our progress bar. It looks like the green marker ran out, and we just had yellow, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's all yellow.
The highlighter. That's a yellow highlighter.
Well, here we go again. Let's see what we can do in the last few laps before the stage ends.
I always say after we get the white flag in a race, the next flag ends the race, whether it be the caution or the checkers. I think I can say the next flag ends stage 1, whether it be the caution or the green and white checker, because we're getting to the point now where we have no more time to get them restarted. I hesitate to say that because I don't want to bring the red flag out before we can wrap up stage 1. What a mess it's been. Teammates on the front row, outside Austin Hill, inside Sheldon Creed. 3 to go, opening stage.
Well, for the first time, teammates decided not to work in the same lane. So this is going to be interesting to see how the 21 and the 2 and the 16 that they were actually playing together, they are breaking apart. So let's see what they can do. But it seems like the 0-0 has something to say there. He's doing a pretty good job.
Got no help behind him at the moment. He's that bottom lane. He's able to push. He's going to push the 2 clear. The 2's going to have a good run to the 21 here if he can handle good through the corner.
Those are Fords working together in the outside lane. Custer, Sieg right behind him. Moffitt is there as well. 2 to go, stage 1.
And this is how quickly it changes. Look at the bottom lane being the dominant lane. All of a sudden, what happened? Yeah. Right? Like, it's just changed here as we get 2 to go.
There you see those Fords. Riley Herbst a Ford as well in the 98. Parker Kligerman showing up in the 48. Sheldon Creed looking to the outside, opens the door for Chandler Smith to come through and push the 21.
He tried to wash up, try to get to the outside of the 21. No help there with him. But watch Chandler Smith here. If he's able to clear the 2,
the help is coming.
His help just left him.
The help is coming. The outside is coming now with a huge run.
And here comes the run for Sheldon.
Yep.
He's going to have a great run here. He gets loose.
Big push from John Hunter Nemechek. Sheldon Creed down low, side by side with his teammate. Final lap, stage 1 at Atlanta.
Make him chase. Make him chase. Just make him chase.
This is going to be close.
Very close.
And I want to say that was a photo finish
by an inch.
Timing and scoring says Sheldon Creed, and we have another crash on track. It is Sheldon Creed who gets it by this much. Look at that.
Yeah, that was close. Very close.
We have had some unbelievable stage finishes since they redid this track last year. For Sheldon Creed, first time he's won a stage in his career. Austin Hill was second, getting some much-needed points. John Hunter Nemechek, Chandler Smith, Riley Herbst, the top 5. Brett Moffitt, Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Sieg, Cole Custer, and Justin Haley, the other drivers who came home inside the top 10. First time we've said Justin Haley's name today. He's been very quiet driving that 3rd car for Colleague. He's doing double duty this weekend. Will race again tomorrow.
What a great job, Sheldon Creed did right there, man. He chose a different lane than his teammate. He was able to work the bottom, go to the top, and make it work. So that was very, very impressive. I think we're going to see a battle here the entire day from those 2 RCR cars.
And that's where it gets interesting, right? Now, this is what we were talking about. You can pit here, put 4 tires on it maybe, and shorten up your pit stop for the next stage. You can stay out, not pit at all. You see pits are still closed at the moment, so no takers right now. But we'll see how that plays out. That'll be an interesting thing. Let's see this wreck at the end of the stage. Looks like it's already started here.
91 is Chad Chastain, making his first ever start in the Xfinity Series, younger brother of Ross. And the 35 is Patrick Emmerling.
Emmerling lost his teammate earlier when Joey Gase crashed. And the 91 of Chastain is a teammate to Josh Williams, and the 92 for Mario Gosselin. So both of those teams having their fair share of problems today.
I think Mario is not having it hasn't been great the last 10 minutes for Mario, eh? And both of his cars in trouble in the last 10-15 minutes.
There's 38 cars in the field today, 10 of them involved in an accident in stage 1.
Well, if all that happened in the first stage, it just makes you wonder what's going to happen the rest of this thing. You know, we see some crazy things. Wild finish to the end of the stage. May have some strategy options. It's crazy.
On board with Cole Custer. This is the Ford onboard camera. Last lap of the stage, you get an idea of what these drivers are dealing with in the draft.
I mean, you can hear the motor, how he just all of a sudden just, whoa, he just went faster.
I hear him lifting a lot right there. That means, and look how, wow, oh my goodness, he's hanging on. You see him coming by him on both sides here. It's just, I don't believe Cole's car's handling very well. He was hanging on.
Do you think he said thank you right there when he put the hand, or it was
no,
a different finger?
That was, hey, don't do that again. My car might not be able to handle that push.
I've always said my favorite type of communication from a driver in a race car is nonverbal. That's the kind of communication
It's so crazy how much we can tell with one hand. You know, we can say thank you. We can say so many ugly things.
and I'm pretty sure it's all in the same language for you. It doesn't you don't even have to translate those. You know.
yeah, it's so funny because it doesn't matter if you speak Spanish, English, Portuguese, doesn't matter. One hand can say it all.
I want to follow up on the Josh Williams situation. He did go to the infield care center. He's been released. NASCAR wished him away. We did not get an interview. We hate that, but Josh didn't decline. NASCAR just had some other plans for him, and a story that we will continue to follow if there's anything further to report today.
Huh.
You know, that's like the guy that stole the cop car, and I mean, it seems like it's the craziest idea, but he'll be telling the story the rest of his life. Josh Williams, I mean, analyzing that, probably not the best decision, but boy, will he be telling the story the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
Hey, a lot of takers, man. I'm actually very surprised on this. I mean, we were all talking about how they can make it all the way to the end of stage 2, and I mean, the entire top 10 made it to pit road.
A host of the front runners making their way to pit road as we wrap up stage 1. These would be their scheduled stops to end the stage. Daniel said it. We were uncertain how the strategy would move from here, but now we have found out Sheldon Creed leading them down. We start things off with Josh Sims.
Yep, and let's start things off with the 25 of Brett Moffitt. Strong run for him so far. Could lose a little bit of help on the turn, so they're going to make him a little bit tighter with an air pressure adjustment and get fuel. For Sheldon Creed, he could use a little help with the turn. They're going to give him a track bar adjustment to help out. It's a little bit of a slow pit stop for him there, Regan.
Well, the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek, that car is just a little bit tighter than he wants. Wanted to leave the balance alone, though. He'd rather be a little tight. And the 21 of Austin Hill doesn't really need anything. He's just been logging stuff for the memory bank for later on in this race.
You know, very interesting how the 21 car decided to pick left side tires only. You know, most of the time when we take right, you know, we take 2 tires, we take right sides only. But this time the 21 and a few other guys left side tire only.
There you see the breakdown. +2 for Chandler Smith, -2 for Austin Hill. What a wild first stage. And the unthinkable, Josh Williams out of the race, and he exits stage left. I love my fans, he says. It's a cold day at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but the fans braving the elements.
some have a little help to get through a cold afternoon.
It's pretty good, she said.
Oh, that'll work.
I'll have what she's having.
That's what I look like every time I drink a nice cold Coca-Cola, right, Suarez? Just,
oh, look at you, man. You're working on it. I'm proud of you.
So the lineup is mixed up at the front because there were some drivers that stayed out here. Chandler Smith was 12th before the choose. Sheldon Creed was 11th. So those drivers that came down pit road there at the end of stage 1 going to restart somewhere around 10th, depending on how the choose worked out. Justin Haley, who had already made his pit stop, was the first of those after the leaders came down pit road. He takes the outside lane. To his left, Anthony Alfredo. Brandon Jones up there, and Ryan Truex celebrating a birthday today. Going to restart second row inside lane as we begin stage 2 here at Atlanta.
So now I think it's going to be interesting as they fire off here. We've seen the bottom lane work. We've seen the top lane work. Now everyone's probably wondering a little bit. Look at John Hunter 3 wide in the back there trying to make the top work.
Drafting help from his buddy, Austin Hill.
Fast cars with some tires on them. They want to get up there as quickly as possible. They're in the danger zone, right? I mean, you don't want to be back there. It's not safe. We've seen that happen plenty of times already. Josh Berry trying to make it work with them as well. And they're doing it.
Parker Retzlaff, the 31, trapped in the middle here.
But guess what? In the process, they are making the top lane not organized. So the bottom is hanging in there just because of that.
Gosh, it just looks so sketchy to me. Yeah. I cringe every time they come off a turn 4.
3 top still. Little free in the mid.
For the lead, Anthony Alfredo driving for B.J. McLeod, that 78.
Big side draft on the top there from Justin Haley.
3 wide for 5th. The 24 is Connor Mozak.
Look at that one sideways back there.
That's Sam Mayer, big wiggle.
I mean, everyone is everywhere. Nobody is organized. Everyone wants to move forward, and nobody's really going many places.
Organized. They're just trying to hang on, Torres. They're just look at them sideways back in the middle of the pack. Organized. I just want to see the front. I want to see tomorrow at this point.
Clear.
You can see how much they're lifting, though. Look at how much they check up there. It's starting to look a little bit more like a typical 1.5 miles as much as they're lifting. Look at them. Oh, my goodness.
The 11 in the middle, Daniel Hemrick, went high. Maybe a little bit of contact with John Hunter Nemechek. They stay side by side into the corner. Nemechek getting a little push from Jeremy Clements in the 51.
The 11 is a handful right now, and you can see it.
Yeah, for the 51, just drive to the outside of him like that. It shows that the 11 is not very strong. Also shows the 51 is great handling as well.
Sammy Smith made the pit stop earlier. Rookie who won last week, trying to work his way back up toward the front. He's 21st. A whole lot going on right now, Coleman.
There is a whole lot going on, but let's look up front at B.J. McLeod Motorsports with Anthony Alfredo taking the lead on the bottom lane. One thing I'm noticing about him, handling phenomenal. He's going into the corner. Not only is he gaining with distance, it's also looking like he can keep the pedal down. Both cars in the leader, the 78 and the 11, both choosing the bottom lane. That tells me their car's handling pretty well.
You know, something that the 78 has to do right now, he has to manage that gap. He cannot get too far ahead, especially with Justin Haley, you know, his rear bumper, which is a guy that he knows how to race this kind of races. So he just has to make sure that he manages that gap.
He manages the gap some, but when you got a good handling car like he does right now, and you're able to go to any lane you want to, as the leader, you can kind of control it. Even if he does get shuffled out a little bit here, he's going to be all right, because his car's handling so well, and you see how much everyone's going to be lifting. And as this run goes and tires get a little bit warmer and cars maybe slip and slide a little bit more, the good handling cars will show up even more.
I agree. I think he's doing a great job so far. I mean, looking at it on this shot, you can even see the leader. He's so far ahead. But yeah, I feel like he's doing a good job. He just has to make sure that he continues to manage those gaps. And I mean, the best scenario for him is to keep, both lanes side by side, just like they are right now, and manage both lanes.
Brandon Jones making a rally down in that inside lane. Excuse me, Daniel.
He's back after some damage.
Yeah, I mean, those early pit stops and now a caution.
The left rear tire flat.
Yeah, no, there's the yellow.
Chad Chastain.
Yeah, he was involved in a crash earlier. It looks like got a flat right front to go along with that. He's running 30th at the moment. I'm sure he's trying to make a recovery. It makes you wonder if something cut the tire down from the damage before, or if he got into something. We'll see. He's kind of back here by himself. It just blew out by itself there. Which you gotta.
Oh, he got lucky.
He got some style points for not hitting the wall there.
Yeah, he got very, very lucky. Like he didn't hit anything.
It makes you think that something probably obviously cut the tire down, probably from the damage that was there before. I bet that got his attention though. Those are the ones that get your attention. You just be going straight, and all of a sudden your car hooks a left, going 200 mile an hour.
Give me 4 tires and a pair of underwear.
he needs the dude wipes from our race leader Anthony Alfredo, right?
There you go.
Yeah, he's gonna send him a pair.
By the way, this is a great program. Protect your melon. Buckle up. They do it with the state highway departments. Both he and Ross had that sponsorship for a number of years, would carry that campaign with him when he was coming up through the ranks. And good to see Chad getting an opportunity driving, as we said earlier, for Mario Gosselin. So our 6th caution of the day is our first here in stage 2. We're almost halfway there in this 2nd stage. Anthony Alfredo leading the way. It has been some kind of wild afternoon here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. With Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, I'm Adam Alexander. Coleman Presley on the spotter stand, offering analysis from there. On pit road, Regan Smith and Josh Sims. You look at our top 10, and there are some incredible names up there. Anthony Alfredo leading laps. Brandon Jones coming back from some early problems. Not surprised to see Justin Haley there. 2 names I want to point out, though. Ryan Sieg, Parker Kligerman. Both made pit stops at lap 44. They have regained their track position. What does that say about the handling of their race car right now?
Well, probably some of that was a choose. Some of it was just picking the right lanes at the right time, moving their way up. I saw them. They were on the bottom lane, and the good handling cars are definitely on the bottom. I'd say they probably handle better than most right now. And we just seen it, right? We've seen with Anthony Alfredo as the leader right now, right? The underdog story, that he's got something to race with today. He can win with this thing, as solid as his car is. He's in contention, and that's what Atlanta Motor Speedway really presents that opportunity to right now, is that you get a good handling race car, even if it's not the fastest. As a driver, you can do something with it. If you're out of control, you're along for the ride. But right now, for Anthony and some of these other guys that got good handling race cars, they can make some moves and make some things happen if they know what they're doing.
This is interesting. The leader choosing the outside, but it seems to me that now a lot of cars are actually preferring the bottom. The 2nd and 3rd place actually went to the bottom. So maybe we're going to start to see a little bit of a shifting, maybe into the bottom and top, not so preferring to the top like we saw in the first half of on the first hour and a half of the race.
Coleman?
Yeah, me and Joey always have a phrase when we're not sure, definitely maybe might work, and I see that right here with Anthony Alfredo. I like the top choose. It's gotten the lead the last 2 restarts, but as well as his car's handling on the bottom, I look for him to try to get to the bottom as quick as he can. The launch from the top lane seems to be solid, but look for him to go to the bottom lane as quick as he can. That's where his strength is.
Yeah, it's a good observation there, and I think some of it too, sometimes you go to the choose and you see a car that you don't see very often up there, right? Anthony Alfredo in the 78 car. I don't know about that one. I don't know if that, is he up here by by accident, or is he actually running up here, right? And he's really running up here. He's fast right now. We've seen that in the Cup race with Corey LaJoie last time here, right? We're like, is he up here for real? And he ran up there the whole half of the race, you know? So this is a real thing right now, and I think that car really is that fast.
First 4 drivers outside lane have never won in the Xfinity Series. Anthony Alfredo leading us back to the green flag.
Very well organized in the top ball lane, really. Ball lanes are very, very well organized, are pushing each other. Let's see what the 78 can do here with another little push from the 39. And 24 is coming as well.
You know, where did 39 push him? That's kind of a sketchy spot. And you didn't even see that 78 car even budge. That thing is bolted to the racetrack. Remember the 9 when he was on pit road with all the damage? Right front tire blew out in the 31.
Behind us, wrecker behind us.
Caution number 7. Parker Retzloff in the 31, driving for Jordan Anderson.
Yeah, Joey was right, the right front tire.
You've seen it once, you've seen it a million times, Daniel. Hey, nothing you can do as a driver when that right front tire goes out. You're along for the ride. Thankfully, he was already close to the wall. He was running 8th. He was on the outside and was able to just not clobber the fence. There he is there in the outside. As you turn in, there it goes.
And also in the worst possible spot on entry of the corner. I mean, nothing you can do right there.
Like I said, he didn't hit the wall that hard. I'd say he probably could finish the race. Didn't seem like it was that big of a hit.
Well, the attrition rate is becoming such a factor. You have to anticipate there will be more cars eliminated based on what we've seen so far. If you can stay in the game, could be enormous later when it comes to scoring points.
Did you ever hear me about the car needing to tighten up anymore? Oh, it feels good out front. I think since that magical track bar went down, it's woke that thing up. I think it's all driver. That's a portion of both.
Magical track bar. I need one of those for tomorrow.
Yeah. We don't even have one of those anymore, bud.
No, the magical part.
The magic one, magic something.
Yeah.
You know, his crew chief is Pat Tryson, veteran in NASCAR circles, has been at the Cup level a number of years now in the Xfinity Series. If you go back last year, he was driving for Our Motorsports. Pat Tryson saved a set of tires. They had the Hail Mary. He nearly won there. Could today be the day for the other AA, Anthony Alfredo?
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are back together. What does this mean for the Usos? Plus, Cody Rhodes competes in a SmackDown ring for the first time in 6 years. An all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
So the real SmackDown, WWE version, is Friday night on Fox. I feel like we've had our own SmackDown in this race. I mean, it's been crazy and chaotic, 7 cautions, and we still have 15 laps to go in our second stage. There were some drivers that came down pit road under this caution. Saw Sam Mayer down there in the 16 of Chandler Smith getting a little damage repair. We're hitting the choose as we set up for the restart, Coleman.
Yeah, not a surprising choose here. Anthony Alfredo taking the top again. Want to talk about some observations I've seen. Let's think back to the end of the first stage. Sheldon Creed got around Austin Hill because Austin Hill, in a 50-50 decision, decided to guard the top lane. One thing I've seen Anthony Alfredo do good in a 50-50 decision, he's decided to block the bottom lane. It's going to be interesting to see how that changes as the race develops and how your car handling can dictate which one you choose.
Yeah, what Coleman's saying there is when you're the leader, sometimes you have to pick a lane to block. You can't block them both. You got to take one or the other. And if your car is better in one lane or the other, you may prefer, you know what, if it's 50-50, the runs are coming at me equally, I got to pick one. I'm better on top, I'll pick the top. Or vice versa, the bottom. That's what he's trying to say there. And, you know, it says a lot about someone's car and also the mentality of where you think the race is going right now.
Longest run under green, 9 laps. There will be 14 remaining stage 2 with Alfredo and Jones on the front row. It's the Bennett Transportation onboard camera with Austin Hill. He restarts outside the top 10. He's led 33 laps today.
They split the 78 there.
You know, I'm not sure if that was very smart of the 10. The 78, I think he showed that his car was fast. I don't think he was going to help anyone by doing that, but it's already done, and the top looks like it's coming back slowly.
Anthony Alfredo goes from the race lead to 7th or so on the restart. Brandon Jones, the new man on point. Couple of Georgia boys out front. Brandon Jones, Ryan Sieg right behind him.
You know, it's all about the push on those restarts, and you saw as soon as the 10 bailed on the 78 car of Anthony Alfredo, it completely killed the both of them, and the bottom lane prevailed big time. And here's a good replay of this right here. Watch the 10. He gets to run, gets past the start-finish line. It's perfectly legal. You can do this, but now the top lane split up, and the bottom just keeps shoving by.
Yeah, the bottom, it was the perfect storm for the bottom.
Haven't said Justin Allgaier's name much today in the 7. Starting to put himself in position just in front of that 78 of Anthony Alfredo. 7 scored 5th. Couple of forwards in the bottom lane behind Brandon Jones. Sieg and Riley Herbst, big push outside. Look at the 78. I mean, Anthony Alfredo, really a man on a mission today.
Going to be interesting to see if this works. He's up trouble when they wreck.
Connor Mozak, 24-11 is Daniel Hemrick, the 2021 Series champion. Oh my, Mozak slides back up onto the racetrack, and that could have been a dangerous situation.
That was a hit of the 24.
They were running inside the top 20, 17th and 18th for Hemrick and Mozak. Caution number 8.
See, they're 3 wide going into turn 3 here.
Just get loose.
Yeah, we said how hard these things are to handle. And
I think the 11 is going to be fine. I think they're going to be able to just fix a little bit the front, the nose, and he's going to be able to continue. But the 24 is definitely out of the race. Yeah.
For Mozak, it was his second consecutive start for Sam Hunt Racing. His first 2 starts on an oval in the Xfinity Series. Last week at Phoenix, today here in Atlanta. He'll drive the road course at COTA next week. Much more of his driving style, and it's been a tough day for Sam Hunt Racing. Early crash for Kaz Grala. He is out of the race, and it certainly would appear his teammate's going to join him in the 24.
They shortened up the back of that car quite a bit. They're going to try to fix it.
Well, I just hope we don't see another car park in the start-finish line.
Fix it right the first time, boys.
Yeah, put enough tape.
It's been a bad day for teammates. I mentioned what happened with Sam Hunt Racing. We've talked about Mario Gosselin's drivers, Josh Williams, Chad Chastain. You know, you can't forget about what's happened to Alpha Prime. Cesar Baccarella is out of the race. Joey Gase, Patrick Emmerling are teammates. So there are a number of different programs here today that have had issues that would put not just 1 but 2 or 3 cars out of the race from an organization. And you saw them, you know, heating up that bear bond. That's why Josh Williams had the problems. The bear bond was cold. It pulled off the car. If you heat that up, maybe it sticks a little bit better here.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
You need a sticky. You need that, Elmer's glue or something.
I'm not sure that would work. We give you a race recap, and most of it will be crashes and cautions. Joey Gase, Cesar Baccarella. That was our second lap. Jeffrey Earnhardt, Kaz Grala, Garrett Smithley, nowhere to go in the 4 car. This was Kyle Weatherman. All these drivers being scored out of the race. Josh Williams had damage. Some of the debris came off his race car. NASCAR said park him, and he did. He parked it right at the start-finish line and said, peace out, everybody.
So many gifts are coming out of that one.
Great finish to stage one. Sheldon Creed gets it done by that much in front of his teammates. In front of his teammate, I should say. Chad Chastain goes for a slide. Parker Retzlaff, the tire issue in the turn one, into the wall. Retzlaff, by the way, has stayed on the lead lap. And our 8th caution of the afternoon is in the air right now for the 24 of Connor Mozak and Daniel Hemrick driving the 11 for Team Colleague. 13 different cars involved in an accident today, and we've got 92 laps remaining.
Well, if you're one of those race fans that likes seeing carnage and wrecks, we got you. We got you covered today. We got plenty of wrecks for you.
Today is your day, right? Well, the question here is, are we going to see a longer green flag run than 9 laps? What do you think, Adam?
Before the race is over, will we see a green flag run longer than 9 laps, which is our longest of the day? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to bet the over on that. Some pit stops, Regan.
Well, Adam, one of those cars pitting right now is the 18 of Sammy Smith. They've been working on that car all day long to help him out. Still needs more rear security now with that race car. He was tight earlier on. Now he needs rear security, so they've been chasing the balance there.
Justin Haley also making a pit stop. Second start of the year for him. A.J. Allmendinger going to drive the 10 for Colleague next Saturday at Circuit of the Americas. First road course race of the year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
And this is kind of going out on a limb saying this, and maybe I shouldn't, but with the amount of cautions that we have, and with 91 laps to go in the race, you might call that your last pit stop.
Well, you
with
know
enough cautions.
You know you're getting one more caution at the end of the stage.
You're going to be close.
And the
to
way
where at least might do a quick gas and go, might get you some track position that way, if anything. So I kind of like it.
Yeah,
you're not in the front. Go
Even
for
if
it.
you can't go the distance, you set yourself up for that short pit stop to gain some track position on the pit lane. What is going on fuel mileage wise today, Regan?
Well, Adam, you guys are talking about if they can make it the whole way after that stage, or after the final caution for the end of the second stage. A couple crew chiefs did tell me earlier today that they were very close. If they had any cautions, they felt like they might be able to. But here's the other kicker to this whole thing. They needed these runs early on in the race to really gauge where their fuel mileage was. They didn't need all these yellows at this point. So that may make it a little bit trickier to gauge how far you can make it and how much you have to save.
There's a solid point.
Yeah,
they have no idea. They're kind of going off of previous history because they're not getting a clean read at all with the amount of cautions we got here in between each pit stop.
8 cautions today. We got a 9th coming when stage 2 ends, and the track record here is 10. It's happened on 3 different occasions, including this race 1 year ago.
Well, it's safe to say we're going to beat that.
I'm going to bet the over on that too.
Absolutely.
Don't look now, but Parker Kligerman is running up front. You know, they had problems at Daytona, come back with a pair of good runs the following weeks, and then last week at Phoenix, he has an issue with his brakes in qualifying, hits the wall. They had to turn around, run the backup car, which was a huge chore for this race team. But he ends up finishing inside the top 15 in a backup car last week, which was miraculous because of the turnaround time and all that goes into getting a car ready to run at Phoenix. And here he is in a position to, you know, perhaps get his first career win. I think when you come to a place like this, you start putting names on the board in the draft. He's a driver you talk about and someone that we would expect to be at the forefront of the conversation next Saturday as well.
You know what, Adam? I just feel like today's race, it can be anyone's race, you know, with the topic of conversation of the fuel, you know, that Joy was talking about. Nobody really knows how hard they can push the fuel. Like, maybe today is a good day to gamble for many of these small organizations, and you never know. I mean, if you tell me that there is a few favorites for today's race, right now I just don't see who can win the race, because there is so many cars that can play strategy, they can have speed, good handling cars, and end up in the front when it counts the most.
Maybe
if any of them finish. That's kind of what it's about right now.
Maybe the day belongs to Riley Herbst, who's been really, really good. Really, if you date back to last year. I mean, at the end of 2022, he was solid. Picked up where he left off. 2023. 4 consecutive top 10s to begin this season. That's 7 in a row overall, which is a career best. And while average finish-wise, he has outperformed Cole Custer, you put an asterisk on the deal for Custer because, you know, Custer's had some problems. He was doing so good in California after winning a couple of stages, cut a tire down. He had to start Las Vegas in the back in a backup car. He did win the pole last Saturday in Phoenix, so the 00 has done some good things, but it's Riley Herbst that has really been out of the gate strong for Stewart Haas.
I agree. He's definitely one of the most improved race car drivers on the racetrack right now. It's almost like there's a different driver in the car. You know, I always say a lot of times you can take the numbers off the cars and the paint schemes, and I can tell you who's driving which car. I don't think I'd know Riley Herbst is in the car this year. He's doing a great job and really found a way to get the most out of himself and his team and not trying to go overboard and trying to go too much. Just take what the car gives you, maximize your days. He's been doing a good job at that.
Going to be a short run to the green-white checkered flag to end our second stage. Front row, Brandon Jones, Parker Kligerman. Row 2, Ryan Sieg and his Ford teammate that we just talked about, Riley Herbst. Then the 7 of Justin Allgaier, Sheldon Creed, row 3. Anthony Alfredo, watch him in the 78. He's going in that outside lane, row 4, next to Austin Hill.
You don't see anyone making that 3-wide move to the top anymore. I think a lot of lessons were learned watching Justin Haley do that. Now everyone stays pretty well organized, especially the top 2 being able to separate themselves here and have a race on their own for the moment.
There was a big gap back to that 3rd car in line, but it's closing now. Jones inching out in front in that low lane. To go in the stage. Kligerman making the outside lane work in the 48 for Big Machine.
I mean, both lines that have been very organized. So, you know, right now is anyone's stage. You know, at this point, you know, everyone is doing a good job. Seems to me that now with the 48 going to the bottom, maybe the bottom gets a little bit of extra life, but we see.
He's pretty far out there right now.
And this is where it's really hard. Like, track position means so much. They're 2x2. There's really no way to be able to move up there. You just kind of got to wait and see if your line moves forward, and hopefully you're in the right one to be able to make some moves and make something happen.
All the drivers you see here from right around 10th on back. Jeremy Clements, blue 51, outside lane, pushing the 8, and there goes Justin Allgaier.
Teammates.
Into the wall. 9th caution of the day.
Right, boys. Right.
And that will end stage 2.
I was not expecting that. She was not expecting it either.
She's not happy either.
He was racing for 6th on track.
And I believe that was a push from 2 back that got him, but we'll have to get a replay to see how that all happened.
Yeah, I think
I mentioned this will end the stage, so Parker Kligerman will cruise around a couple of times and pick up the stage victory. It'll be his first.
It's a tough one, man. I mean, I felt like the 7 didn't know that he had 2 cars on his outside, and he just moved a little bit. And that was it.
That's a tough angle to call exactly what happened there.
You think about Allgaier, started the year with 3 consecutive top 3s, wins both stages last week, gets a DNF, and he'll do the same today.
It looks like the 8 made a move to get to the middle there, and the 7 didn't know it.
Yep.
There's another view of it. See, the 8 kind of moved down at the same time the 7 was coming up, and just the timing of it and things happening so quick. I mean, I hate to say it's racing, but that's That's just racing.
Stage 1 today went to Sheldon Creed. It was his first career stage victory. Stage 2 going to go to Parker Kligerman. First time he's won a stage in his career. Riley Herbst second, Brandon Jones third, Sheldon Creed getting some good points today was fourth. Ryan Sieg completes the top 5. Stage 2 complete at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Shot me left, and like Justin was happening to come up at the same time, and we just missed.
So that led to our 9th caution of the day that ended stage 2. Your reaction to the Josh Berry radio there?
Yeah, it's racing. It's not that Jeremy Clements did anything wrong, right? He had the room in front of him to push him down the back straightaway. That's the moment to push him. You push him in a bad spot. It just, when he hit him, like he said, it shot him left a little bit. At the same time, Justin was trying to cover the middle, and boom, they crashed. I don't think anyone's to blame at that one. It's just, that's just racing on super speedways and with cars that are unstable and just life.
That's the product of two cars going in the same direction for the same hole. But nobody's fault, just part of this kind of racing.
Well, we've said on multiple occasions, you get to the end of stage 2, you make a pit stop, probably thinking about going from there, even though, as Regan pointed out, some major question marks on where all these teams are on fuel mileage because we haven't had any long green flag runs today. Here are the drivers making hay on stage point. Sheldon Creed wins stage 1, solid stage 2. He leads the way. Herbst, Hill, Kligerman, Ryan Sieg all having nice afternoons. So is John Hunter Nemechek. Much needed points for Brandon Jones. Chandler Smith, give a call to Anthony Alfredo. 5 stage points for him today. Pit stops, end of stage 2. And it's Parker Kligerman that is leading him down. Josh Sims and Regan Smith await. Here they are, Josh.
Let's start with the 9 of Brandon Jones. Remember, he had that damage on the nose of his car early on in the race. Right now, his big complaint, just a little too loose on the entry to 3, so they're going to give him an air pressure adjustment. Only 2 tires for him. Moving on to the 2 of Sheldon Creed. He just said, tighten me up, and he wants 2 tires because he wants that track position, Regan.
Well, the 98 of Riley Herbst's been told to stop very short. The leader, Parker Kligerman, is pitting right in front of him. They want to make sure they can get out of the pit box good. That car cannot follow cars as good as he likes right now. It snaps loose. He needs help with that. And the 48 of Parker Kligerman, he has been quiet on the radio, asked for a tear off, and that was it.
Race on pit road, and this is big because you take control of the race. Riley Herbst is the first off. Brett Moffitt goes fuel only +9 for the 25, and Kligerman loses 2. And I say you take control of the race. We'll keep an eye on anyone who may have stayed out here. I didn't see that the last time around. Let's visit with Parker Kligerman, first career stage win. He's having a day in the 48.
Let's check him out. Parker Kligerman, Joey Logano here in the Fox booth. You got us?
Gotcha, buddy.
Hey, first stage win for Big Machine Motorsports. Congratulations on getting that one. You got a pair of tires on that thing. You still got some decent track position. What are you thinking?
Well, first off, Patrick Donahue, our crew chief here, really wanted a stage win, so happy to deliver that to him. But all the guys here at this Big Machine Racing, Spike Course, Chevy Camaro have done an awesome job, and this car is a rocket ship. I just had to make the right decisions. Didn't do that in the first stage, but I made up for it in the second one, and hopefully we can continue to do that, not make the right decisions, and, you know, we can go get that big prize at the end.
All right, man. Well, good luck. Keep holding it down for the Connecticut guys.
Thank you, buddy. You know it. We do it best, right?
This team has a win. It came last year at Texas with Tyler Reddick. They had never won a stage until today. Parker Kligerman said it. I delivered for the team. I'm not sure this situation isn't beyond repair. She's very upset. Suarez, that tie's looking really good.
It's looking good, eh?
Who tied that tie?
I wish I can say my mama, but my friend Adam right here.
Trouble. Big wreck.
Just past halfway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're live at Atlanta Motor Speedway, 5th race of 2023. With Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, I'm Adam Alexander. We're set for the final stage and just about ready to do the choose. And Riley Herbst won the race off pit road. No one had stayed out, so he takes control of this thing, chooses the outside lane. Parker Kligerman goes inside. We did have a couple of pit road penalties. And there was also a couple of close calls and maybe some contact. Brandon Jones in the grass. Ooh. Hitting John Hunter Nemechek.
And this is what happens when the whole field comes down pit road on a tight pit road, and they're all doing 2 tires or fuel only, and cars are leaving their pit stalls while other ones are still rolling in, and it's a recipe for disaster.
Everyone is in a different agenda.
Yeah, it gets tough.
Sammy Smith in the 18 removed equipment, so they start at the tail end of the longest line for this restart. And there was also a problem for the 78 of Anthony Alfredo, Josh.
Yeah, the 78 of Anthony Alfredo having an issue with that radio, so they had to come in and get that fixed. And then another issue with a member of the crew over the wall too soon, so had to go to the back of the field for a penalty.
That's a shame, too. What a fast race car they had leading some laps earlier in this race. Don't count them out yet. Still a long ways to go. A lot of things can happen with a really good handling car.
We're only a few laps away from, halfway, like passing halfway. So there's still a long race ahead of us. Let's see what we got here in the restart. Outside is doing a very nice job, being very organized. The 48 is waiting for his help, but he's just not getting there.
Look, Daniel Hemrick was involved in that spin earlier, and he's third in line outside lane, giving a push to Brett Moffitt, who's helping his Ford teammate Riley Herbst to the point. But Parker Kligerman by himself basically hanging strong in that inside lane.
He has a fast car, man. I mean, he has no help, and he's hanging in there. It's impressive.
He has a fast car. I also say Brett Moffitt there in a 25. That thing's a pretty fast car as well, and it handles good. We saw him earlier go 3 wide, up in the dust. He's making big moves, and now he's got another Ford there in front of him. You see now the backstretch a lap before this, he had the opportunity to pass his teammate, or his Ford teammate there, and he didn't take it, which saying that they're working together there.
Look at the 48, man. And I'm going to keep an eye on that 48. That car is very quick. That car is very quick. I feel like he has very little help for being hanging that close to the front.
And you see here now that we're getting, we're going to call this a long run, guys. This is like 3 laps into a run. And you see them all starting to move to the top lane. You can see it as you see back further in the pack. When cars get the opportunity to move up, they were taking it. And Kligerman moves up there, right? And it's just getting smaller and smaller on the bottom side, which you got to think that's just going to make it fall backwards.
I think Kligerman said, I've done all I can here. I better slide into line in that top lane, or I could go in the wrong direction. Coleman, what's up?
Yeah, Joey brought up everyone starting to migrate to the top. The guys I want you to watch is Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill running 5th and 6th on the top lane. Look for them to get clear. We know they have a good handling car, trying to make that bottom lane re-energize. I think Riley Herbst is doing a good job of bringing that lane back closer to the bottom to try to limit that from happening.
And we saw that while Coleman was talking, the one guy kind of shuffled out of there, Sam Mayer, and it looked like he was loose, and that's what kind of made that happen. And Daniel, you could probably agree with this. When you have a car in front of you and you see him wiggling, you know he's a risk factor, right? He's going to wreck at some point. He's sideways. The first thing you want to do is get him away from me. And this was kind of the situation. This was after he was already shuffled out, but these are teammates here. They got loose into each other there. We've seen that with junior motorsports this year. There's a little contact a lot of times.
Just a magnet, right? Speaking of which, Justin Allgaier, eliminated from the race, hit the wall prior to the end of stage 2. He joins us now from the infield care center. From your perspective, what happened there, Justin?
Yeah, I don't know. Just got hooked in the middle of the straightaway there. It's pretty sad, really, honestly. I'm kind of embarrassed for the sport right now. Just the way this race has gone, and it's this style of racing to me just isn't a lot of fun, and it's not got a lot of grip, and everybody's kind of just hanging on for dear life. So we'll try and figure out what's going on here. It's been 2 weeks in a row now we haven't had a shot to even finish this thing, and especially with Raptor on the car, Raptor Tough, and being the Raptor race, we wanted to go get that really beautiful trophy at the end of this one, and unfortunately we're going to load it up in a bucket of parts. So nothing really good to say, to be honest with you. Just thanks for all the fans that came out and all of them that are watching at home. Hopefully they're enjoying this now when we finally get to actually watch some racing and these guys are getting it figured out. But just a shame how the day's gone.
Thank you, Justin. We'll see you next week at COTA in Austin, Texas. While Justin was talking, the racing, amazing. And look who's back out front. Coleman Presley said it. Watch the 21, watch the 2, and here they are. Austin Hill, so good at this style of racing, and once again, he's the man on point.
Absolutely. A lot of big things happening there. And, I know Justin's frustrated, and as he should be. He's out of the race right now. I get it. But once we got the racing going right now, this is some entertaining stuff. Lots of crazy big moves going on. You look at the 25 that was up front. He made some moves, and I don't know how Austin Hill got back up there. Crazy. Look
Cole Custer, 0-0 outside lane, getting a push from Brandon Jones. Drivers with new teams.
Work middle here, still half in line. 10 working bottom, 1 back in line. 1 back bottom.
Mentioned the drivers with new teams. Custer back to the Xfinity Series at Stewart Haas. Same organization. Brandon Jones moving to Junior Motorsports. Kligerman's fallen back outside the top 5 since that restart. Look at some of the names up front that we haven't said in a while. We mentioned Austin Hill. Sheldon Creed is there. Nemechek back in the game. Chandler Smith. Ryan Truex in the top 10. Brandon Jones is now slid back to 12. We'll go side by side with 67 laps to go. Austin Hill, your race leader.
Much has changed over our 75 years, but the thing that never does, the anticipation, the holding of breath until that first green flag drops and the crazy journey begins all over again. If you could travel 75 years from now, you might not recognize much at all. But one thing will never change. That feeling you get when the race begins again.
Weeknights on FS1, Race Hub is your home for the only daily NASCAR show.
Built by the experts for the die-hard fans.
Covering the stories, the drama,
and the excitement. NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1.
Jussie Smollett, an actor who films the hit TV show Empire, told police he's the victim of a hate crime.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one.
We were the ones that did it.
Yeah, it was us.
Justin, you have anything to say?
For 46 years straight, more of you have trusted Ford F-Series trucks to help save the day, stretch the weekend, haul, or tow. Just about anything, anywhere. That's because they're built Ford tough, and it's why Ford F-Series are America's best-selling trucks 46 years straight. And for that, we thank you. Because this isn't just about our capability, it's about yours.
Gillette presents the Gillette Labs with Exfoliating Bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris that gets in the way of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke. All with a lifetime warranty. And if you want to keep the beard, use King C Gillette, a lineup of products designed to cleanse, soften, trim, and style for your best beard. Gillette, the best a man can get.
There's a thin line in the NASCAR Xfinity Series between being a name they know and being a name they'll never forget.
63 laps to go, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Austin Hill is leading. NASCAR Xfinity Series in the final stage. Been a crazy day, 9 cautions already. And I guess we shouldn't be surprised the driver leading from Winston, Georgia, Austin Hill. When you look at what he has done since coming over full-time to RCR a season ago, he's been money on the drafting tracks. He's won 3 of his 7 starts. led laps in each of those, and finished second and first in the 2 races here at Atlanta Motor Speedway a year ago. Second in the spring, came back and got it done at his home track in July. So he's quite comfortable out front and doing it again today. He's led the most laps, 41 circuits out front.
And while we were on commercial break, you saw in the double box that Riley Herbst tried to go for the lead. He went by himself on the bottom, did not clear Austin Hill, the leader of the race at the moment, and fell way back. Could not find a hole back in until all the way back there in the pack in a 12th. So big risk, and that's what these guys got to think of right now, right? They're all single file, right? You can click off some laps here, and that's okay. If you're in the top 3 or 4, maybe you just hang there, right? And there's a lot more risk for the 1 spot or 2 spots you may gain if you go to the bottom and try to leapfrog a car and get back in. So you got to think risk versus reward in this moment right now.
John Hunter Nemechek down low, going in the wrong direction. We're in the midst of our longest green flag run of the day. Prior to right now, longest stretch was 9 laps. And the fall continues for Nemechek, who slides in line in front of Cole Custer. Here are our Toyota top performers. John Hunter Nemechek, prior to falling back, was 3rd. Ryan Truex having a good day on his birthday, consistently in the top 10. And Sammy Smith had that penalty on the last cycle of stops, currently scored in the 21st position, 59 to go now, Coleman.
Yeah, right here we're single file, not a lot going on, but this is a time as a spotter, as a driver, you can't get comfortable. You still got to look in your mirror. You still got to look at those gaps. Think back what happened to John Hunter at Nemechek 2 laps ago. He just let Parker Kligerman get to his outside. Now he's in the unpreferred line, and he loses about 10 spots out of it. So just because there's not a lot going on doesn't mean you can get comfortable.
There's always someone waiting to pounce all the time, right? As soon as you get a little bit comfortable, you let your guard down for a second. Boom. You can't trust these guys. That's what they figured out after all these years. It seems like we all have the same goal in mind, is to win the race, and they're willing to take advantage of any opportunity they can get. And you see like how much they're lifting into the corner now, right? You just seen that for John Hunter, how much he had to lift into the whole line checked up. If you can get to the outside of someone right now, it's a pretty sweet move.
Yeah, but the lifting is what creates the opportunities, right? Because thanks to that, you can run to the outside and take advantage of a car or 2 in front of you, just like they did to John Hunter.
Anthony Alfredo led laps today, 18 in fact. Had that penalty last cycle of stops, and here into the wall. Not terrible, but
yeah, from what I saw there too, like he was up there in the 3rd lane, and I saw a lot of dust coming off, and everyone's running in the bottom and second lane. And I just wonder if all the dust and debris coming off the cars is just sitting up there next to the wall, and when you get up in it, it's dirty, and he slid a little bit. Obviously, he knows he has a fast race car, and he's trying really hard to get back up there, and it's going to get harder and harder as this race continues to get back up there.
This is the Bennett Transportation onboard camera. Our race leader, Austin Hill, we mentioned the fact he's from Winston, Georgia. Bennett, a local company. 15 minutes down the road is their headquarters. Got a bunch of employees, customers here today, hoping to celebrate with their driver again. One here last summer, as we talked about, and off to an unbelievable start in his sophomore campaign in an Xfinity car, driving for Richard Childress Racing. Running single file, so we'll go side by side, take a break with 54 laps remaining. It's Hill, Kligerman, Moffitt, Chandler Smith, Ryan Truex, the top 5.
Wednesday. Throw on your boots and saddle up.
It's country night.
The Masked Singer's going buck wild for the gosh darn cutest costume yet.
The axolotl. The axolotl.
And can this songbird sing?
I have a new favorite.
Plus, an unmasking hits down home.
This is family right here. You had me.
It's Country Night on an all-new Masked Singer, Wednesday on Fox.
There's a thin line in the NASCAR Xfinity Series between winning and losing, between being the future and being past, between headlines and tailspins, between making history and being it, between the sweet taste of victory and the fumes of defeat. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, there's a thin line between being a name they know and being a name they'll never forget.
Home internet, what a pain in the...
Hey, neighbor! Try T-Mobile, it sets up so fast. It's like Wi-Fi that runs on 5G.
Home internet from T-Mobile?
Wait till you see. Tell me more, tell me more. One cord's all that you need. Tell me more, tell me more. Don't you worry about speed.
I need to try it first.
Yeah.
Experience the exhilaration of the Performance line at the Invitation to Lexus sales event.
You saw it while we were side by side. Good news, bad news situation for RCR. Austin Hill leads, Sheldon Creed making an unscheduled pit stop. And the problem here, I mean, you never want to make a pit stop under green when you're having a problem and it's unscheduled, but the bigger issue is because you now enter pit road in turn 3 and you have to be at pit road speed through turns 3 and 4 at a 1.5 mile track. You're probably going to lose somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 laps and could be 3 depending on where you're running. We'll see how it cycles out for him.
That was 2 laps right there. He's down 2.5, and he's just now leaving pit road. Yeah, so it'll be exactly 2.5 or so.
Now I will say this, and we had that run of cautions in the first couple of stages. He's going to be the first car a lap or more down. So if we were to get some more cautions, he could get himself back in the game. What's the story there, Josh?
Again, you saw the 2 of Sheldon Creed having to come in. What happened was the right front went down as they got tight and started seeing sparks. They had to come in and get that right front fixed.
Sheldon Creed coming off an amazing comeback for 3rd last Saturday in Phoenix. Rough start to the year at Daytona in California, but it bounced back and was doing some good things today. And hey, I said it. He needs cautions. He's got one here. This for the 35 of Patrick Emmerling. It's our 10th caution of the day, so we've now matched our record for Atlanta. And Sheldon Creed, based on timing and scoring that I see, is 2 laps down. He'll get one of those back and get the free pass. Emmerling was running 21st when he brought out the caution.
And just as this caution came out, they started getting pretty racy up front again. The second lane started working on the bottom again.
Beautiful sunset.
Let's see what happened here. Oh, he's already sideways. Another one sideways.
Yep. Kyle Sieg was there, and we were talking during the break about Sammy Smith. He got that penalty, restarted outside the top 20, hadn't made any ground, maybe had lost a little bit, and was running back there, able to avoid incident in that situation.
I wonder for Sammy Smith and his situation, starting that far back, you got to make these passes pretty quickly unless you're stuck in the pack that you got, right? The packs were separated. There was 3 or 4 little pods out there, and if you're wide open all the way around this place or close to it, if you don't get by some of the slower cars initially, you are stuck in its own little pod, and you can never go get the fast cars again. So this is a good break for him to try to group back up.
Well, what a difference a week makes. Last week, leads 92 laps, gets his first career win, had all those duels with Kyle Busch on restarts, which we know is a challenge for any driver at any level. But he makes it all work out and gets his first career win, 4th youngest winner in series history. and comes here today. Qualifying's washed out yesterday. He finds out I'm not only coming to Atlanta for the very first time in my career, I'm starting on the pole. They have fought that race car and fought that race car, but they have not been one of those that's been in the wall or involved in a crash. Car looked fairly clean, and so he's far from out of the game as we head down the final stretch of this race. And his teammate, you talk about busy. What about John Hunter Nemechek? Double duty, not this weekend, but today. Ran the Craftsman Truck Series race earlier. You watched it live on FS1, had a top 5 finish there, and he's been all over the board here this afternoon, currently 14th, and trying to keep that streak alive of consecutive top 10 finishes. Has not been outside the top 10 so far this season.
Hey, you know what, Adam? For the people watching at home, just for them to be in perspective, John Hunter Nemechek today, so far, the race is not over yet, but so far he's been inside the race car for over 5 hours. So that's a long time. That's a long time just being focused, paying attention, and be, with driving a race car for almost 5 hours between the truck race and the Xfinity race so far. So that's a long time.
You think he's going to sleep good tonight?
I mean, you can see his eyes right there. He looks a little sleepy.
No, I don't know. He's got a young one at home, Aspen, so she might not be ready to let Dad sleep in the morning, which is always a factor. The other thing I would say, congratulations to he and wife Taylor, announcing a couple of weeks ago that they're expecting their second child. And when I saw he was on the entry list today, not just for the Xfinity race, but the Craftsman Truck Series race, I said to myself, you got another kid on the way, you're going to have to work 2 jobs. So he's doing double duty today.
He knows the deal.
Yep. True. Joey knows exactly what you're talking about.
I'm on my 3rd job, boys.
Joey is tri-vocational. Justin Haley is 9th right now.
Hey, so here's the deal with these cautions. It puts us right on our numbers for fuel. If we pitted and put tires on it and filled it up with fuel, you could be aggressive as you want. Do you think you can get yourself back through the field if we do that, though? I have zero idea.
Well, he has zero idea, but he's coming to pit road to get some fuel and tires.
I wondered how this would play out. Regan talked about the uncertainty on where everyone is with fuel, because we've had so few long green flag runs today, and a number of drivers saying, hey, we know for sure we're in the window now. Let's pit, get some fuel, maybe some tires, and make a run to the finish.
Yeah, look for some mixed strategies on this one.
Pit stops, 44 laps to go, Josh.
Well, let's start with the 25 of Brett Moffitt. A strong run for him so far. He was asking the team to just let him know when that bottom line starts to come in and running that top line, but would like to be able to make a move to get to the front. Regan.
Parker Kligerman continues to have a very good run in the 48 car. Right now they need to tighten it up just a little bit through entry and center for him. Earlier in the race it was very good. And the 16 of Chandler Smith, a great recovery by that team. About three cautions ago they had to repair the entire front of that race car, and it has come back to life for him.
6 cars did stay out. Among them the race leader Austin Hill, so he elects for that track position here. The race off pit road won by Daniel Hemrick. He goes +4, takes no tires. 2 for Cole Custer, who is +2. Ryan Sieg also goes fuel only +4. And you see the 48 extended stop for Parker Kligerman, doing a whole lot to that Chevrolet.
Yeah, that's a bummer. He's up towards the front there, and obviously a pit stop that's going to put him very back in the pack here.
But he has a very good car. I think obviously it's going to get more difficult as the race gets closer to the end, but I think he still has time to make it to the front.
You have time to make it to the front if you survive, right?
Correct.
We've seen what this races look like. We just had a long green flag run, yes, but now we're coming down to the end, under the 50 to go. You're going to see some more aggressive pushing, more aggressive blocks, drivers making moves that maybe aren't the safest at this point. It's not the fact that you're back in the pack and you can't move your way up through the field. It's the fact that he's back in the pack and has a bigger chance of getting caught up in a wreck.
A few drivers staying out here. I talked about Austin Hill. You also had Riley Herbst, Ryan Truex. Your thoughts on that, Coleman?
Yeah, I want you guys to watch Austin Hill. Once he got the lead last time, one thing he did really well was keep the second lane side by side. If we think about how the lead has been taken all day, it's been from the top down going into turn 3. What he did, he was able to keep them side by side so that outside guy couldn't make the move going down the back straightaway. And a lot of that just comes from confidence from a spotter, Derek Nealon.
Yep, that's absolutely how to do it, right? Is understand how the runs are being made, where the passes are best, where the highest likelihood of a pass being pulled off and being cleared, and defending that move. And that just goes, like almost said, just experience for the driver and the spotter, and knowing what lane to block at the right time, right? It's one thing to just block whatever car is there, but when they're too wide, you have to make a choice. And at that point, you need to be educated.
We'll do the choose here, which means we'll get a restart with 40 laps to go. Let's check in on Parker Kligerman. We saw their extended stop a second ago.
Left front tire was slammed, we're out of it, okay? And the right rear tire had a pop rivet or a screw in it, okay? And so we're all good here. Shake it off. Sorry about all that. All good. We'll make up for it. It's got a fast car. We'll get right back up there.
Here's the choose.
I like the confidence.
Top 4 stayed out under the caution. Top 3 go high lane. Brandon Jones goes low.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see top 3 do it. I don't know. I like the front row. You give me the front row, I got a chance. But like I said, it still depends on the car you got. Austin Hill has proven to have a very fast car and a good handling car, that there's a good chance that he's able to retain the lead when he has a car like that.
How would you describe the mental grind of a race like this? So many starts and stops, and it's getting longer than what we normally anticipate on a Saturday in the Xfinity Series.
Well, I don't know about you, Joy, but when I have races like this long, I start getting hungry.
Let's talk about the serious stuff.
Where's our food? No, but you know, it's very important just to stay in the game, because it's very easy to just lose track and focus of what you have to do, where you at in the race, the tires, and the whole sequence, because you stop, you know, every 15-20 minutes. So it's just very important just to get in your rhythm.
The mental fatigue at a super speedway is real, right? I mean, the amount of focus it takes to run a race, whether you're 15th or you're in the lead, it takes a lot out of you. And we talked about John Hunter, right, running 2 of them today. He's shot. He's going to be tired at the end of this one.
We got word food is 8 minutes out, by the way, Dan.
I appreciate that.
61 green laps today, 61 caution. We're green with 40 to go. Austin Hill jumping out in that outside lane.
Look at that bottom. Look at the bottom. He's going places.
He's barely clear. Not for long.
I mean, we talk about how hard it is to find teammates. Watch the 0098. A couple of team cars up there that could connect out of the Ford family. Riley Herbst, Cole Custer.
And we'll just have to wait and see how long this bottom lane works, right? We saw about lap 3 or 4 last time that drivers started looking for holes to get up into that top lane, and that's what made the bottom fall apart. So we'll see how long it takes this time. Maybe it lasts a little longer, considering this under 40 laps to go.
I almost feel like if people is actually disciplined in the bottom and commit to the bottom can be just as strong as the top. But I feel like people start bailing a little bit, you know, sooner than in the top.
Once you start seeing it like not work, that's when everyone's like, well, let me just cut my losses and get up before it's too late, right? And so that's kind of the situation that you see happen sometimes here.
Second straight week, Ryan Truex has been driving the 19. He's been impressive today. Brandon Jones, much needed run in that bottom lane, driving the 9 for Junior Motorsports. Best for JRM this afternoon.
You know, and to
bottom lane's trying to get regrouped again, 5 back bottom.
And to Joey's point, you know, this is exactly the point in the run, a few laps after the restart, where the top start coming alive, and then the guys in the bottom start getting desperate. Say, okay, let me get out of here and let me go to the top. But yeah, the top it just seems very, very organized right now.
Joe Graff Jr. driving the 38, top 12, had his career best finish in the draft at Daytona. Driving for Sieg, went over, ran a few races for Joe Gibbs Racing, was solid, the top 15. Things didn't go his way last week, but he's good today. As you see Chandler Smith get kicked to that high lane, could be an issue there. We'll follow him as Graff jumps into the top 10.
Yeah, his hand was outside the window, Chandler Smith. That's saying that he has some kind of issue. Get away from me, I'm trying to get up and out of the way.
And he will make a pit stop.
His rear bumper is full of oil, so that tells me that maybe he has a mechanical issue, some source.
He was running 7th, and that likely will end the opportunity for Colleague to put all 3 cars in the top 10 for a second consecutive race here at Atlanta. Let's watch him pull out of line. This has got to be an anxious time for any driver.
Anytime you're getting pushed down into the corner,
yeah,
you see he's off the gas, the fire coming out of the pipe, something's wrong. Good job not causing a wreck there. Regan, you got an update?
Yeah, Joey Chandler came on the radio, said, I think I'm blowing up, or I've got something terminally wrong with the car. Said he couldn't even get it back into gear. Nothing was working on that car, so he should be going directly behind the wall.
There he goes.
That's unfortunate, man. He's been doing a very, very good job for a few weeks in a row. So tough break for him and that team.
3 consecutive top 5 finishes. Here's Anthony Alfredo, working his way back to the top 15 after that penalty.
He's still got a fast car. Now you wonder at this point of the race, as the sun's gone down, has handling maybe not mean as much as it did before, right? I mean, I know it's cold out already and there's already grip in the racetrack, but when the sun goes down, there's still more grip to be had. And I wonder now, does the good handling car really show up as much as it did before?
33 laps to go. We take a break, but we keep it side by side so you miss nothing. Austin Hill leading at Atlanta.
Saturdays, baseball's best are showing out on Fox. This is where MVPs are VIPs and where aces always come in pairs. Saturday means it's showtime for Shohei and mealtime for Manny. All the swag, all the salt, and all the slams. The biggest games on the best day of the week. Fox Saturday Baseball returns April 1st.
The racing, the big one, the camping. It's all just bigger at Talladega. And with a doubleheader on Saturday and the Cup race on Sunday, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
But one thing for sure, it's always thrilling.
And as they go across the stripe, a photo finish!
NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Yeah.
Sick.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care? A 2-year or 25,000-mile maintenance plan and roadside assistance. That's the value you can expect from Toyota.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Marco's new Magnifico pizzas are loaded with Old World sausage and pepperoni to deliver your taste buds to crispy, savory glory. And it all starts at $9.99. Marco's. Pizza lovers, get it.
Much has changed over our 75 years. But the one thing that never does, that feeling you get when the race begins again.
I've always heard that crew chiefs, and I've said this before, sell blue sky. And Patrick Donahue was doing that to Parker Kligerman after that last caution when they were there forever. But I believe he was telling the truth. The 48 getting with it late and coming to the front despite having no track position on the restart.
Despite having no friends. Look at him. He's down there by himself. He's made some big moves on his own. The fact that he's even hanging on down there by himself shows that that car is a rocket ship.
There's your
wasn't
word.
lying. That's my word. That's my rocket ship word, and he uses the word, and his car is actually a rocket ship. Look at that. I mean, he has no help, and he's been inside the top 5 for a while.
This is impressive, Regan.
Adam, and a little bit of good fortune for them also. Originally on that last pit stop, they were planning to do 2 tires. They audibled, went to 4 tires when not a lot of cars came down pit road. That rivet that was in the tire was actually in the left rear, which they weren't originally planning on changing. And the 21 car of your leader, Austin Hill, keep an eye on him as this race plays out. He has been logging data in his mind the entire race, all the way back to stage 1. He was talking about trying to manipulate the draft behind him and understand what he could do with moves. He was learning way back at the beginning of this race when we were, I don't know, 6 hours ago or whenever it was. At this point now, though, he's already mentioned to his team the bubble behind the race car is a lot different this year than last year. He said it may be more difficult for me to hold them off.
I think if somebody can do it, it's Austin Hill. Like he's very, very good in this kind of racing. He understands very, very well the draft in the Xfinity cars, and he has shown that time and time again in Daytona, in Talladega, in Atlanta last year, and once again today.
I mean, you just keep seeing Parker Kligerman down there on his own, just making it happen.
He's not going away.
Unbelievable. Coleman, what are you saying?
Yeah, Parker Kligerman has a great car, but let me tell you what's happening to help him up there. He was about 9th place, stuck on the top. These cars are handling so good. They're so tight together. Every time they go into turn 3, that top lane stacks up. So every time that top lane stacks up, he has open space on the bottom to keep power down. What's going to happen here, if you watch, probably in about 2 or 3 more laps, he's going to have help from another car we said was good at the beginning of the race, Anthony Alfredo.
Yeah, they're both coming up through there. They both know they have great cars. They both know they handle really well. And you see some success, right? As soon as there's some success on the bottom, boom, others jump in there and say, I want to be too late to the party. And they jump in. Now there's a real bottom lane that's formed up. And you always got to look at the leaders of that pack, right? If it's going to move forward, you're going to have 2 good cars. You see 2 great cars. Parker Kligerman's car, the 48. Anthony Alfredo, 78. 2 of the best cars on the racetrack trying to make the bottom lane work. They both have come from the back all the way up here. I'm with Coleman on this. This is a match made in heaven, if you ask me.
And with tires, too. Fast cars with tires. So the 78 and the 48, they both have had fast cars all day long, and they have tires. So these guys are going to be a real threat for the 21, in my opinion.
And you can see Austin Hill, he's thinking about it. Should I go down there? Oh, you're too late.
Too late, buddy.
Too late, just like that.
His help's 2 off.
And I'm not saying he's too late like that was the wrong decision, because he's obviously thinks that the top is still preferred. So he kind of had a 50-50 moment there what to do. It was still the right move. He still retained the lead after it. But now he has to work, right? That rest period is over. You got a real bottom lane that's formed up.
Exactly. The bottom is now alive. You know, exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a little bit of help for the 48 and the 78, and now they are right there together. Let's see what they can do.
Jeb Burton driving the 27 for Jordan Anderson looks good. His only career win coming in the draft a couple of years ago at Talladega. He's in the top 10, looking at the top 5.
It's just how racing works, right? The cream rises to the top. Right at the end, when it matters the most, the best cars have showed up.
There's 5 drivers in the top 10 that have never won in the Xfinity Series. Could get a first-time winner today, Coleman.
Yeah, there's a great opportunity for a first-time winner here. This is what I was talking about going back a little bit ago. Austin Hill working both lanes really well, keeping Riley Herbst from getting clear to the inside. Joey, my thought to you, obviously track position is huge. If Riley could ever get clear into turn 3 and make that move to the bottom, how soon are you willing to do that to try to take the lead?
Yeah, man, at this point of the race, you're a little early, but it's not a big risk to take the move. If you get a big run down the backstretch, we know into turn 3 is a good place to try to take the lead. Maybe I try to get control if I can. But, I mean, you still got 20 laps to go. Knowing me, I'd take it. I might not should, but I think I would. I know I would, actually.
All I'm seeing is at the bottom is getting more and more and more organized. And I think this is going to be interesting to see how the 21 can play his cards to be able to block both lanes right here.
Yeah, so far, he's been impressive, huh?
He's doing a great job. And you see he kind of goes to the bottom on corner entry. Block the bottom. That's when the bottom's going to have its best chance to get underneath you. After that, then start looking at your options. Where do I need to go? What lane do I need to get in front of? You know, right here, coming off the corner. This is a 50-50 one. This is where it gets a little tough. Now the top's looking pretty strong. He gets up in front of that. He's in the mirror. Look at him. He's in the mirror the whole time.
Heart rate up over 140. Close to 145. Now north of 145 for race leader Austin Hill.
Coming down bottom here, corner entry of 1. 3/4 off.
The spotter's Derek Nealon.
98 pulling this quarter now. Hold what you got. Back up 1. Guard both.
Guard both. And he's kind of got this thing going on down the straightaway sometimes where he's kind of getting half of both lanes.
Yes.
You know, he's not really in a lane he hasn't picked. He's trying to block both if he can.
16 laps to go. Great racing at the front here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Third time we've raced on this configuration. 1 year ago, Austin Hill was second. He won here last July. At that time, it was his third career win. He's led 87 laps this afternoon. And look at the drivers with 3 wins in their first 5 races in a season. Mark Martin did it twice, 97, 2000. And the other name on the list, Kyle Busch, 11, 13, and 16. If Austin Hill were to win here today, he would join that dynamic duo. One's in the Hall of Fame, and one will be there as soon as he's eligible.
One off 2 by 2. Their health's both staying tighter now. Staying within 3/4 to half.
He's doing such a good job maintaining the lead here. But you know, with 15 to go, it's 15 to go at Daytona, long time. 15 laps to go at Atlanta goes by really quick.
You know, something I'm noticing on the 78, Joey and Adam, is that he's struggling now to keep up with the 48. I already saw a couple times that he has had a couple moments on exit of the corner with the back of the car stepping out. So maybe he's not as comfortable as we think he is. Actually, you can see it right there.
Well, you can see the back of the car. If you kind of look at that bottom line and look at the rear of the car and see how much it's moving, you know, to that line, you can tell that the car is a little bit loose.
So many great stories in the top 10. 2 of them side by side here. 51 Jeremy Clements won in the draft at Daytona last year to qualify for the playoffs. Inside of him, Tucker George's Ryan Sieg trying to capture his first career victory today.
I mean, you can feel the intensity, right? You can feel how the gaps are getting smaller. Everyone is pushing a little bit harder.
Just behind this group, Sammy Smith has returned to the top 15.
Some issues here. 3 wide.
In the middle, the 27 of Jeb Burton. Right behind him, Ryan Truex.
And this is where things are about to go wrong here. The third lane is started up. Guys are making big moves. The patience are gone. They realize if we're stay 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back, there's nowhere to go. I can't move forward. I have to make a move. I have to try something. They go 3 wide and they push more. It creates more gaps, more runs, big things happening. That's usually when they wreck, but they got through it that time.
It's like that guy on the freeway that says things are stacked up. I'm going to the shoulder. I'm going to make my own lane here. Kligerman up behind Austin Hill. Third in line, the 98 of Riley Herbst. Next time around, 10 laps remaining at Atlanta.
Now the 21 has a real threat behind him. The 48 has a fast car. He's very hungry, and I think that he can be a real threat to the 21. And right now he's going to try to learn as quick as possible to see how he's going to be able to complete that pass.
And if you're Kligerman right now, you know what? You might be in a pretty good spot. No need to make the move yet. 10 laps to go. You're in a great spot. You can make that pass. He can back up, make a run to where maybe a move to where Austin can't even defend it. That might be in his playbook right now.
I would also say keep this in mind. Austin Hill didn't pit when Parker Kligerman did at lap 120. We believe the 21 is good on fuel. That could be a factor And you can see in the pylon how many laps it's been since these drivers last made a pit stop. It's been 73 laps for Herbst and Hill. And there was some uncertainty on what kind of fuel mileage they were getting because they didn't have a gauge based on the runs we were getting early in this race. Just something to keep in mind is we'll have 8 laps to go.
And here comes a run here for the 48. He's going to have a big run from that push in the 98. Caution out.
Hard caution.
Caution, 8 laps remaining. It's our 11th caution of the day. That's a new record at Atlanta, and this time it's out for the 31 of Parker Retzlaff, the rookie out of Wisconsin.
Man, that was about to get big in the turn 1. I think that was a run. He may have said, okay, it was timed out perfectly to where Parker was going to be able to go to the bottom in the 1 and maybe make that move if he wanted to. We'll have to see how this restart goes now.
You know, we could be looking at an overtime situation as the caution comes out with 8 to go. It'll be close if we get this restarted to end regulation or we have to go to some extra time. Retzlaff is out of the car. That's a good news, but you can tell a little banged up in ginger as he walks to the ambulance.
See off in the distance, he got loose and then, ooh, pretty good hit to the right front into the wall in the corner like that.
You know, this caution could be a good thing for those drivers that had been out longer because the caution lap's obviously better on your fuel mileage. I think the issue is if you go to overtime, you run extra laps, or as cautions breed cautions, we start to get some overtimes and multiple overtimes, and then you have to ask big questions about where they are in that regard. But we'll see.
Let's just stay comfortable, Adam,
yeah,
because I think we're going to be here for a little while. I mean, I really believe that the 48 didn't want to see this caution. I think he was sitting in a pretty good spot. He was starting to learn what he needed to do to make that run. Like Joey mentioned, I think actually he had a run on that particular moment that the caution came out. But definitely for the 21, it's a good thing. We don't really know his situation with fuel.
Parker Kligerman scored second behind Austin Hill.
Come in. Having fun? Yeah, just got to come up with a move here. That was the right call. Yeah, 10-4. Kind of forgot we're at Atlanta, not Daytona. You call it. It's my job to get there, you know? Yeah, 10-4. It happens quick, obviously.
Brandon McReynolds on the spotter stand for Parker Kligerman. Big Machine Racing, a great story. Started this group a couple of years ago. They ran full time. Last year had multiple drivers behind the wheel. Patrick Donahue leading the charge on the pit box for Scott Borchetta. They won the race at Texas with Tyler Reddick. Decided this year they want to run one driver full time. Parker Kligerman was the guy. Parker, 32 years old, from Westport, Connecticut. This is the second time in his career he's run full-time in the Xfinity Series. Also did it back in 2013 driving for Kyle Busch. But you feel like this time around he's more mature, more seasoned, and with an organization that can put him out front and give him a real shot to not only make the playoffs, but make a push once he gets there.
Yeah, he's been solid all year long, you know, solid. And now he's got really his first chance to get a win. And you know, I just can't believe that we've been through as much as we've been through today. So many cautions, so many crazy things happening, and the 2 best cars are running first and second after all that, right? Like, just unbelievable.
Daniel Hemrick is third, won the championship in 2021, won that race at Phoenix to claim the title for Joe Gibbs Racing. That's the only win he has in his career. Of course, we've talked about Austin Hill and how successful he's been. Already 2 wins this season to go along with his win at Atlanta last year and the season opener at Daytona in 2022. But outside of that, it's all goose eggs for our top 5. Kligerman, Herbst, Alfredo, all trying to get it done for the very first time here today. Hey, we talked about Sheldon Creed going 2 laps down when he made that unscheduled pit stop. He got the free pass almost right away because we got a caution. First car 1 lap down here gets the second free pass in our second consecutive caution, put him back on the lead lap. And let's not forget what he did last week. We thought they were out of the game put some lug nuts on an old set of tires, and he drove through the field, finished third. Don't write him off depending on how this race plays out. What are the nerves like under caution, knowing what's about to unfold here with what could very well be the money restart, as you look at Patrick Donahue, the crew chief for Kligerman, and Andy Street, who calls the shots for Austin Hill, the running 1-2.
This is the money restart, right? And what you got to figure out, okay, Austin Hill, he's going to take the top. He's been doing that all day. He's probably going to choose the top. Kligerman, you've seen him work on the bottom pretty well. I still think he might take the second row on the outside. That's kind of one of the toughest calls here. Coleman, you got an opinion on this one?
You know, I could go either way on this one. The biggest opinion I do have is I feel like Kligerman has to make the move before the move's made on him. If you look at third, fourth, fifth, sixth place, those are guys that's never won before. You know they're going to be hungry. There's not going to be a lot of loyalty. There's going to be a lot of movement around. Kligerman, if he takes the bottom, he's shown that he has a good enough car to make the bottom work, and we know on these short run restarts the bottom is capable of working. If he takes the top, his one goal is hope that he isn't boxed in and take that run from the top down into turn 3, but I think he has to do it before the white flag lap.
And so much matters on who pushes you, right? If he does take the bottom and take the clean air and leading a row, if he doesn't have a good pusher behind him, it ain't gonna work. And so I think it's just such a tough call. It's so hard not to take the front row when you have 3 to go. Like, how do you not take the front row?
21 team radio.
48's obviously pretty fast, so he seems like he can close on people and stuff pretty good. So if he chooses behind us, we just got to do all we can. See what happens, see if it's enough.
We'll do the choose this time. We'll do that with 3 to go. We'll restart with 2 to go, but it will be a regulation ender unless the caution comes out forcing overtime. Even though it's a 2-lap shootout, will be the last 2 laps of regulation. We are not yet into an overtime circumstance.
You know,
I
think the 48 has to go opposite than the 21. We're going to see here in a second. Oh my God, I'm very surprised about that.
I don't know if it's wrong.
I mean, it's not wrong. It's safer. It's safer, but I don't know. It's easy for me to say it from up here, right? But probably I will have chosen the bottom and hope to have a good push. But we'll see what happens here.
Coleman?
Speaking of good push, though, Riley Herbst has had a lot of second row restarts today. I feel like he's got attached and been able to push a lane very well. I feel like we have 2 very dominant cars in the second lane, capable of delivering a good push. Very well could keep this lead boxed in for Austin Hill.
And that's a good point, right? If they stay 2 by 2, Parker doesn't have the opportunity to even make the move to pass for the win. Man, it's just a tough call here on what the right move is. And that's why you have to watch these races. You just don't know what's going to happen.
And you know, something also that is important to mention is that the 48 has the best tires in the top 4, I believe, at least on the front row. So that was another reason why maybe the bottom was going to work out well for him. But you know, maybe he's going to prove me wrong right here in a second.
Austin Hill will be the control car, but he does have a flair for the dramatic late in these races. He's won 4 times. 3 of those have come with a pass for the win in the final 2 laps, including when he won a few weeks ago in Las Vegas. Restart 2 to go. Austin Hill, Daniel Hemrick on the front row.
So Hemrick was laying back there trying to time the restart there.
Yeah, that really put the 78 in a very, very tough situation.
The top's hooked up here. They're going to roll down the back straightaway big time. They're going to clear the bottom lane. Now the move goes to Parker Kligerman. He don't have the run right now.
No rule against locking bumpers for the Xfinity cars here at Atlanta. Something we have to watch at Daytona, Talladega, but it's not against the rules here tonight. We're going to see the white flag this time around. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Your leader is Austin Hill.
And right now, Parker's got to be looking for the run. He's going to have to back up to the guys in front of him. He's got to figure out what car to back up to try to get the run on Austin Hill. Right now, Austin's got it blocked. There's no run from Parker.
And remember, you can't go below the line on the inside. That is out of bounds.
Here it comes on the top. He's going to get to his outside.
Parker Kligerman going high. Help from Brett Moffitt. Daniel Hemrick shoving Austin Hill down low.
Oh, no.
They're sideways. Can they hang on? Austin Hill wins once again. He goes back to back here in Atlanta as they crash across the start-finish line.
I feel like he was sideways for a mile.
Oh,
that was a crazy finish.
Holy cow. You know, it definitely looked like, you know, Parker made the move to get to the outside. That's the only play he had, and rightfully so, the right one. But once he got up there, he had no help to help him finish the move off. And Austin was smart enough to get back to the bottom, get the push on the bottom. And it literally a big push as he was sideways for a long time.
What a save. What a finish. And unofficially, Parker Kligerman comes home in third. He was backwards.
I'll take a backwards third.
That was a crazy finish. Very, very intense race. And I give a lot of credit to the 48 and 21 both. You know, they both had the best cars and they were battling for the win at the end.
Good to see drivers climbing from their cars. For Austin Hill, he's got the hometown hat trick. Third win of 2023 comes right here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, an hour from his hometown, Winston, Georgia.
Nothing like winning at your home racetrack.
Here it is, final lap, turns 3 and 4. Let's bring him back to the checkered flag.
And it's an amazing run the 48 was able to get, but just no help, and that's where Hemrick was able to, he kind of slid up into Kligerman there. Kind of finished him off too there. It kind of stinks that it, after all that, it's got to end up in a big pile of carnage, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot of cars torn up in this one. You see the 11, he just kind of slid up the racetrack. He kind of gets underneath the line and straightens out the wheel a little bit, and just everyone ran out of real estate, unfortunately, and tore up a lot of really fast race cars.
It's nothing that the 48 could have done in that situation. In my opinion, he did everything right. And also the 21.
His friends and family are here. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins.
That's awesome. Very happy for Austin.
And his wife and kids. There's his oldest daughter. What a day.
Nothing cooler than winning a race and seeing your kid run across the infield to come see you, right?
Oh,
Say, hey,
awesome.
Daddy, right? Like, there's just nothing better. Look at that.
She was born in North Carolina, but he told me yesterday she calls Georgia home.
That's awesome.
Look how great that moment is right there, huh? That's the best.
What a moment, Regan.
He doesn't know what's going on.
What a moment, Adam, indeed. Austin, you've got 5 wins now, 3 of them this year alone. I got to imagine, though, this moment we just watched on the front stretch, that's to make this one the most special.
It really does, just having my whole family here. Growing up in Georgia, you know, an hour down the road, and growing up racing here on this little quarter-mile racetrack, I knew it was going to be tough today. It just seemed like guys could get really good runs. A lot different than last year's race, the way it unfolded. But Derek Nealon did a hell of a job on top of the box, or on top of the spotter stand. Everybody on with RCR and ECR engines did such a phenomenal job. Really good pit strategy. We were on it all night, and once I got to the lead, I knew that it was records or checkers. So when the 48 hit me in the right rear, I'm guessing he got hit or something. I thought I was heading to the outside wall, but was able to gather it up, bring it on home. This is so special. That was a tough one to win, but our Bennett Chevrolet was as fast as Xfinity 10G tonight for sure. I want to thank Bennett Transportation and Logistics. They're just 15 minutes down the road as their headquarters, so I can't thank everything that they've done for me, and I can't wait to celebrate this with my family.
You mentioned when the 48 got to the outside of you, coming down the front straightaway there. I know you haven't seen it yet, but how exactly did you hold on to that car? Because I still don't know how you did that.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, obviously, but I thought I messed up. When the 48, I didn't realize the 48 got as big of a run as he had. And I'm like, dang, I just screwed up because, you know, the outside was where you needed to be most of the night. And I felt the 11 give me a big push. I kind of drug brake a little bit so he could get to me and surge ahead. I thought it was going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. And then when I got hit in the right rear, I don't know how I saved it, but when we go back and watch it, I'm sure it's going to be something cool to watch.
Go celebrate with your family. Austin Hill, your winner in Atlanta.
Here alongside Daniel Hemrick, who comes home second in this race, which was a wild race. Can you describe the finish of this thing and what was going through your mind, what more you needed?
Just, you know, can't give up the front row. So going on the bottom, I didn't necessarily want to be on the bottom, knowing how dominant the top was all night. But in the 48, it made it work and drove up to the front there with a couple to go. And I don't know, I probably should have been a little more aggressive earlier in the race. I've been in a better position. And we had so much damage once we lost some track position earlier with a silly penalty. And after that, it was a grind all night long to get the Chevy accessories, Collie Race Camaro back near the front. Great job on pit road by these guys, though, to take fuel only, give us track position back. And not quite as fast as Xfinity Internet 10G, but close, man. Just, second sucks. Nobody wants to finish second, but appreciate Matt Colleague, Chris Rice, ECR, RCR, our affiliation with those guys. Had really good power tonight. So it's not truck month yet, Chevrolet truck month yet, but this thing is beat up and it's tough still. So proud of these guys, proud of the effort. And, yeah, well, we need to finish like this. Thanks, David.
Daniel Hemrick comes home second, best run of the year. Ryan Truex, back-to-back top threes. Parker Kligerman ends up fourth officially. His best run of the year, Riley Herbst, keeps his top 10 streak alive. Thanks to both of you for coming up today. Good luck tomorrow. And here is the plan. Race day 1:30 on FS1. We're over to Fox at 2, racing at 3 o'clock, 400 miles live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was a great day here. Special thanks to Coleman Presley on the spotter stand, Regan Smith, Josh Sims on the pit lane. With Joey Logano and Daniel Suarez, I'm Adam Alexander. Congratulations, Austin Hill. You're a winner again. It's time for bowling on FS1.